everything is on the table again. And what we're going to do, because it is Christmas in July, and I'm going to use my tumbling tile blocks. I use the smaller blocks. Of course, I have here my container with everything inside, my scissors, markers, brushes, everything, my twine, some mud pots, and of course my wood glue. You can use some hot glue, but it's always tricky that it doesn't fall apart, so be careful with that. Of course, some paint at your choice. Maybe I use also another paint. And then I have here my saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel which is wet to wipe away the glue. What we're going to make, we are going to make a snowman, but a snowman with a twist. I am always loving making a snowman, but always in a different way. So we will see how unique we're going to get this one. So I hope you join me. So we are going to start with 4 blocks because we're going to start with the head. And that sounds a little bit strange, but probably it will be. But you see already, my glue is not working with me. So he is not really up to do something. I didn't check it out. If you see, he's not really happy how I closed up yesterday. So I'm going to do some glue on the tops, roll them together. So 3 pieces, we do some glue, and then we're going to squeeze it. So this way. And we make sure that we have a nice straight line. We're going to get our towel and we're going to wipe away the glue we don't need. And of course, we're going to give this a couple of minutes drying. We place it over here. What we're going to do, we are going to get 3 blocks. I think I'm going to do it 4, 5. I think we're going to do it 6 high. So we're going to do 3 pieces of 6. So very easy. You just do some glue over here and on the longest side and on this side, and a number 5 and a number 6. And of course, you see already we have already 3 over here, 4, 5, 6, and we do here the same. I should have laid it down already. I know I should have done, but I did totally forgot it. And of course, I want to do this together with you, so everyone who wants to make this one can make also his own unique little snowman. And it will be kind of a stand you can place anywhere. You maybe also can place it under your tree. The ideas are endless and everyone can fill it in the way they want to. So we're going to squeeze it from within. Make sure that you have a straight line. And then from the outside, again, squeeze it from within, go to the outside and make sure that you have, again, a straight line. And we do here the same. Squeeze it. And I think you can dream it already. Everyone who is here already for a long time, they probably get a kind of a tick because they watch my DIYs, because everyone can dream already. Squeeze it, press it. So I think a lot of you already can dream it on his own. So I'm going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. We gave it a couple of minutes. We're going to turn it and we're going to place the blocks in the longest side. Place this one on the side, do some glue over here, and we do this one the same. And it can fall apart, like I tell you every time and again, because don't worry about it if it does fall apart, because you can easily just place it together again and it glues again. But that's the greatest about wood glue. It still is very forgiving, so you can easily fill in the open gaps. You see already, mine is also coming out and going all the way, but you squeeze a little, you press a little, and you always get to work with it. So don't mind and don't think. A lot of comments I hear, I can do it not as you are, because how do I tell you? I always say you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, because I am not a professional. I can't say it enough, because there are so many beautiful creators who can make the most beautiful things because it's their job. This is not my job. It was not my real job. So I see it as a hobby and I like to show it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it. You just have to be yeah, give yourself some grace because I know you can do it. I saw already so many beautiful pictures on my email from DIYs you make, and you give me so many ideas for in my own home also. So thank you for that, because I always say you can do it also, the same like I can. I also learn by the day. I hope that what I say makes sense in English. That's what I hope. So this will be the head. Of course, I'm going to give it some glue on the underside over here. Oh, you see already, I'm already gluing the side. I'm going to place it over here and make sure that I have it in the middle. Give some pressure over here. And then I'm going to let this dry in for at least a half hour. Now we're going to make his body, and we're going to do the body of the snowman in 3 parts, but we need an open frame. So what we're going to do, first we're going to do 4 times 2 blocks. This will be the top of his body, the first square we're going to make. This is of course the tops. Place it together. We do here the same. Place it together, and here, and this one. And we're going to squeeze them and make sure that we have them in one straight line. And we're going to give them a couple of minutes dry time. So I gave it a couple of minutes. I know also with the head it is not totally dry. I'm going to do on one of them, I'm going to do some glue on the top over here. Place it down and place this on here. I'm going to do some glue on this side. And I'm going to place this one not under here, but on the sides over here. Squeeze it. And now we need some glue on this side and on the side, because we have here some glue and some glue here. So we do it on the underside. So over here. And a little on the side on the top piece. And if you're going to place it down, you see already it's fitting nicely inside of here. I'm going to give some pressure here and here. And now we already have our own square, and I'm going to let this rest for a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, while our little square is drying, we're going to do 4 pieces of 3, and we're going to do again the tops. Very easy, only a little glue on the top side, roll them together this way, and we do here the same. And with this one, and again, place number 3 against it. And so we make 4 pieces from 3 blocks, and this is the last already. And we're going to place this one also together, and this one. And this snowman is not really a small snowman. Of course, if you want to do it smaller, it's always a little bit difficult, because these are already smaller blocks. So this is the size you get, because if you go to size it down, it's really getting because this is already only 2 blocks. So I would not recommend it to size down. You can do, of course, make it much bigger. That's another question. Bigger is always easier to do, especially if you already have the sizes. Because I did now 2 pieces starting with, and then 3 and 4. But if you're going to size it up, you can start with maybe 4 blocks, 5 and 6. Then you get a really big snowman. So you can do anything you like. And you see already this one is going out. I'm just going to glue it together and give it a couple of minutes rest. So now I have my 4 pieces again. I lay this one down. I'm going to do some glue on this one on the top. And we're going to place it over here and make sure that we have everything glued nicely together. We have to work a little bit with it. And this way, because he's a little bit out of the line. And this way, we're going to do some glue on this one. And we glue this on the inside again. The same like we did with the other one. And this, of course, we have to be sure. And now we're going to do, we need some glue here and some glue here. So we do some glue on the underside, over here. And a little on the inside at the ending. Just a little space. You see already, it's not too much. And we're going to place it down. And we're going to make sure that we have everything nicely. And give it some pressure. And give it here some pressure. And then we're going to let it rest. Of course, we need to wipe away the glue, be sure that you keep both of the blocks holding in place, or else it will go everywhere. So, and we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. Now we have 4 rows of 4, and we're going to repeating the same. And this is the last of this snowman, because I do it in 3 parts. And I chose, like I told you, I chose for this size, but you can size up very easily. Maybe you want a big one outside of your door. But if you want to use this kind of blocks outside, always give them a furnace paint. I hope I say it right. Here in the net we call it vernis. At least you give it a layer of spray that you can use it for outside, because you always want to have it water resistant if you want to use it outside. At least if you want to have it for 1 season or maybe more. So we're going to give this some squeeze, and we do here the same again from the inside. Keep the 2 blocks in your hands, and this one also, and make a straight line and squeeze it. Squeeze this one, of course, and over here and over here. And we're going to give it some rest. So now we have also our 4 pieces of 4, and we're going to do again 1 this way, 1 this way, and 1. So we're going to do the top, and this one is really a big one. For me, he doesn't have to go bigger because I want to have it on my dresser. So I'm going to go for this size, and I think he already turns out to be a reasonable size. He's not really small. He's a little bigger than I thought, but of course I should have known. I always build a little bit too big. So I'm going to do also a little on the top, on the ending, and I'm going to place it over here. We're going to squeeze it. We're going to squeeze over here, and this one even a little extra, and this one. And then we're going to wipe away, but be careful, make sure that you hold your pieces together. And over here, and you see where this one is a little offline, and that's not what we want. So now we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest. So now we're going to make the bottom, at least the stand where he is standing on. We're going to do 5 pieces of 3. We're going to do the longest line, and we're going to glue them together. Very easy, just roll them together. And you see already this DIY is not too many blocks, so it's always great. I always say, because I never know how many blocks I use, I always say have always 4 until 5 packages laying around in your home, and then you can always make every DIY. So we're going to, we're going to do already 3 blocks, squeeze them together, and this way, and this way. And we're going to let it dry in for a couple of minutes. So we gave all 5 of them a little minutes of a rest. We are going to now lay them in one line. All of them are pointing this direction. We're going to do some glue on this side, and squeeze it together. And on this side, over here, and the last already on this side. And we're going to fill it up with number 5. We're going to give it lightly. Every time a little bit of pressure, not too much. Every time a little bit, so we can easily fill in the open gaps we have. You see already I've still 1 over here. So I'm going to work my way to the top and work that everything is smoothly glued together. And you see already we're going to wipe away the glue, and now I have 1 big bottom. And of course later we can make it to give it a little bit more of a high-end look, but I think I'm going to keep it with this. We will see. So you see already we placed our bottom over here. Now we're going to get 6 blocks over here and 6 blocks over here. What we're going to do, we're going to roll them together, because we're going to need a little bit of a face for the snowman, or else he looks not really like a snowman. So we're going to do 6 blocks together. And we do here the same, the longest line, and this one, and already the last. And we're going to squeeze them, press them from within, and again, and this one also. Give some pressure over here. Make sure that you have it nice, as best as you can, in a straight line. Of course, we're going to wipe away the glue. And always when you wipe away the glue, check if you have everything still in the straight line. So over here, and we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. So I waited a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn them this way. I'm going to place this one on the side. And again, we're going to do some glue over here. Place them together. You have now the blocks pointing in the longer side this way. We're going to give it some pressure. And we fill in easily the open gaps. And we're going to give this also a couple of minutes before we're going to glue them in the little square we made. That's the first square we made, the one with 2 pieces. So, and you see already, he can easily come on top of here. We have our square over here. This is the closed one, this is the open one. And we're going to make sure that we have this one over here. We're going to place this above, and we're going to do some glue along the line over here, around here, and over here, and around here. And we easily place it on top of here, and of course in the middle. And you're going to turn it around and look for that you have it everywhere in the middle, and then give it a little bit of pressure on the sides only. And we're going to let this dry. So you see already I made my mat a little bit longer with my second one. So I placed them to each other. I have here my 3 pieces, the bigger, the smaller, and the top. This will be his head. What I'm going to do, I'm going to glue them together this way. But what you also can do, oh, there's a plane going. There's a plane going over. I'm sorry. You also can do it this way, and you just can glue them together this way. It's also an idea. It's not something I don't like. I am really debating if I am going to, yeah, it's really not bad if I look at this way. You see already I make it up where I'm when I'm busy. I think I'm going to go for this one. I really like this one because it's popping out a little bit more. It gives some texture. So I think I'm going to go for this one. So I make sure that I have the line over here. So I'm going to do some glue over here, from here until here. And I'm going to do some glue from here until here. So, and I'm going to let it rest in for a couple of minutes before I'm going to glue it. Now it is very easy. We place this one on top of here, and we're going to try to find the middle. I'm going to keep it in place, and I'm going to try to squeeze this one under. And of course, we're just going to ease it, lay it on top of each other. And I'm going to look for the middle, and I'm going to give it some pressure. And we do here the same. We give some pressure over here, and then we're going to let this dry in if we have it on the place we want to have it. And we're going to let it dry in at least a half hour. So if everything is correctly, you have now your frame, and you see already I glued it on top of each other. You can see it on the back side. I try to turn it so you can see that it's really glued on top of each other. You have, if everything is correctly, you have a bottom and you have a snowman's head. What we're going to do, because I want to give it a little bit more steadiness to the frame when I'm going to glue it. So I need 2 blocks, of course, glue together. So this way and this way. So I'm going to, very easy, do some glue on the top. Oh, this is already enough. I think I'm going to do it also a little bit on this one, because or else it is a little bit too much glue. This one and over here, and I'm going to press this one and press together, and we're going to let it rest for a couple of minutes. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to get our bottom. We have of course the frame of our snowman. What we're going to do, we're going to do some glue on the underside, on the here, and we're going to do some glue on the front side, because we're going to use this as kind of as a frame to place it inside of here. What we also can do, if you want to do it earlier, you can glue them on top of here also before you're going to glue that over here. So that's also fine. Maybe I'm going to do that. I'm going to do some glue over here. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do some glue over here. And we're going to place this one first down, and we're going to place this one over here in the middle, and we're going to place this one over here. and we're going to press it together over here. Make sure that you have everything in a straight line. And I'm going to keep it in place for a little moment, and then we're going to glue everything on top of our stand. We're going to glue this one, the longest line, over here and around here. We do some glue over here and over here. You see already it's one big glue mess, but we're going to glue it on our frame, and again place it in the middle. So over here, we're going to squeeze it, press it down, and we're going to keep it in place for a little moment until we have it. Be sure that everything is standing nicely. You see already, I took my two weights of 1 kilogram, and I'm going to place it on top of it to be sure everything is drying nicely. But you see already on the front side also there is some glue coming out. I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to remove the glue which is popping out. So again, we're going to clean everything, and we're going to let this dry in for at least 15 minutes. So in the meantime, we are going to take our snowman's head. I'm going to have my a little bit of the darker gray color. I don't want to use the black. I'm going to go this time for the darker gray. And of course, I'm going to place, oops, you see already, I'm just going to do some paint on top of my head, and I'm going to give it a little bit of the lighter sanding. Of course, I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to wipe away a little bit, so it's still, the wood is still coming through a little bit. So, but of course, maybe you want totally a gold one or maybe a black one. Just do whatever you think is right. I'm just going to choose for this one. So in the meantime, my head is drying. I'm going to get my frame. Of course, he's a little bit big for fitting inside in here, but we are going to paint this in the creamy white. But if you can do it totally white, I keep it with creamy white. And of course, then we're going to place our head on top, and of course we do some ribbon over it, and later we do some pieces in between here and here, but you see that in a moment. First we're going to paint this white. So my snowman frame is drying also. I'm going to get my head, and I have here a piece of ribbon in the lighter red color. I'm going to do some ribbon from this side until this side, and maybe I'm even going to do it to the back side. I don't know, you can choose for yourself. So I'm going to go from this until this to make a nice little red popping out of my head. So I have here the piece of ribbon, and I have a straight line over here. I'm going to do a little bit of glue under here, and I'm going to place it in the middle on the back side of my head. So give it a little bit of pressure, not too much. And of course we're going to, when it's dried up, carefully going around the ending, and we're going to go from this side to the other one, and we go to this side, and we're going to cut it off a little bit over the end where we started. Of course, I have to get my scissors under here, over here, and I'm going to place this a little double, and I'm going to do some glue on this side. And I'm going to place it on top of each other this way. Keep it in place, and now you see already you have a nice little popping out of your frame of your head. And I don't do, but maybe you can do some piece over here. Some people do a little bit of fabric over here, so it looks like the head is broke. At least that you did saw him. It's really difficult saying it in English, but I think you already know what I mean. You know, some kind of a little square over here. You can choose for yourself. I keep it this way. Now we're going to do the frame of our snowman. We start with his face. So before I'm going to do the eyes and the nose, I'm going to make his mouth with a marker. But of course I use a little bit of a rounding of a bowl. You can use maybe the ending of a ribbon. You can use anything, maybe the ending of a weight. So I'm going to place this down, and I'm going to make sure that I have it in the middle, and I'm going to make a little line until here and until here, and just a little small line. Of course I have to look for where I started and where I end, That's always always a tricky thing. And then we're going to go over with some black marker. So you see already I have a half a rounding, and I'm going to go with my black marker very carefully because it's always tricky. Of course, if you can paint it, it's much and much better, but I'm not a great painter, so I'm always taking myself take it easy. So I'm going to do a bit of some marker. I'm going to make my mouth, but of course do whatever you think it's right. So you see now I have my black mouth, and I'm going to get my pencil again, and I'm making a little half bows also on top of here, a little rounding, and I do here the same, and I go over with my marker. So this way and this way. So I'm taking it myself very, very easy. And then I'm going to get my googly eyes. I have here my package with my googly eyes. I'm going to do 2 of them, and I'm going to paint them black because I don't always like the googly eyes itself. It looks a little bit, especially mine, look very plastic. So I'm going to paint them both in the black color. So you see already I painted my eyes, my googly eyes black. I have here a carrot because I always have through the season I have my bag with some carrots. I order them always online on AliExpress, but you can also do Temu. I'm going to cut off a little piece so we get a flat side of our carrot, and then I'm going to glue this on top of here. So very easy, just get a knife and just carefully go around and make sure that you have a nice clean cut and that doesn't break out because it only is styrofoam. So you don't want that it is breaking out. So you see, this is what I mean. Oh, there you are. I would say, oh, where were you? You see a little opening, of course, for the stem. I'm going to do some glue, and then I'm going to glue it in between here on top of our frame. And then later we're going to decide where we're going to place our eyes. So I'm going to get my hot glue, and I'm going to glue my nose. So I do a little bit of hot glue. Of course, it's a little bit tricky because hot glue is always melting away your styrofoam. So you have to do it carefully. I'm going to place it a little bit on this height, and I'm going to squeeze it, keep it in place until it is dried up. So my googly eyes are dried up, and I'm going to look for where I want to have them. I think over here, and I think over here. So a little bit on this side. So I'm going to get some glue, do some hot glue on the back side, and I'm going to place them over here. And this is one, and I'm going to place this one over here, and make sure that I have them in the line I want to have them, maybe a little over here. And this one. So I think they look very nice. What I'm going to do now, we're going to glue our head on top, and then we're going to give some decoration on this and on this side, but you can decorate it any way you like. This is just an inspiration I give you, but you don't have to do it. You can decorate this side and this side the way you like it. So I'm going to get my wood glue, and I'm going to do some glues because I placed this one also in front of here. So I'm going to do some glue over here. And on the top side over here, and now I'm going to place my head, and of course we have to be sure that we have it in the middle, and of course we're going to give it a couple of minutes holding place because or else he will fall down. So I will make sure that everything is glued nicely together. So you see already on my table I took out my butter brush trees, and they are always in a package of 12 in different sizes, and they are very cheap. So I hope you can find them, and even when you're going to make this later you still can find them, because then the Christmas decor is already in the shops, at least here already. Now slowly in some kind of stores it is coming, but I know in a lot of countries in June, July, Christmas is slowly coming in. So I hope you find them also, maybe from in your stash from last year. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make the bigger ones over here and the smaller ones a stair higher. So of course I show it you this way. You can see it now on the back side. So I'm going to get my bigger ones, and I'm going to carefully turn them, and I'm going to cut off the underside. It's very easy. I'm going to get my cutter and I'm going to cut it off on the ending like this. So now you have a flat space. You see already like this. I took out the wire and I'm going to place one over here. Of course, I'm going to glue it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to do another one very carefully. Turn it around and get the feet off. And I'm going to get my cutter. And again, I'm going to cut off a piece of my underside. Again, over here. And I'm going to get my glue and I'm going to glue this on the first stair of this one. So I'm going to do some glue in the inside of the tree, and don't worry, you will work it away later. We're going to place it in the middle very carefully. Just squeeze it in between and just let it rest for a little moment until it is dried up. And then I really hope it stays in place, but you never know. It is always tricky because it is not a really big space. You can leave the feet on, but I find it always a little bit of plastic. You see, he is not really want to work with me. He is not really happy where he needs to stand. So I'm going to look for how I'm going to fix this because I want to have him standing over here. So I'm not giving up. I'm doing a little bit of extra glue over here. And I'm going to place this one next to the other one. Of course, over here, squeeze them in each other like this. And I'm going to give it a little bit of pressure until they are dried up. And maybe they are more sturdy when they are together. And this way. This is already one. Now we're going to get the middle size. Or maybe the smaller size. I really have no idea. I think I'm going to go for the little ones. And I'm going to look first if I like this one better or the other one. So always try and just see how it is looking like. Because you don't want to glue it and then say, oh, I should have done it differently. So I think I feel like this better or maybe a size smaller. We will see. I'm going to turn this one off. Oh, this one is really hard to get off. You see already he's a lot of glue on the side. I'm going to cut it off. And now this is really small over here. So I'm going to go for this size. And again, I'm going to do some glue. And I'm going to fill it in the inside. And I'm going to squeeze it next to the other one very carefully. And I'm going to squeeze it in. And that's the greatest about butter brush trees. You can easily fill them inside of each other. So we already have one over here. And now we're going to do another one on the other side. And of course, I'm going to repeat this on the bottom, a little bit of the same. So I won't bore you with that to do all the sides. So again, I'm doing some glue over here. And I'm going to place it and make sure that I have it a little bit mixed in with the other tree. Over here. And I'm going to keep it in place for a little moment. Until my glue is dried up. So I'm really happy with this side. And of course, later we're going to find a little bit of greenery to fix the ending over here. I'm going to repeating here the same. So you see, now I have two layers. I have here my trees and I have here my trees. Of course, now I'm going to get my greenery branch. You see already like this. And I'm going to make such a little pieces and I'm going to stick them all inside. So I work away the underside where is the glue. So I'm going to give them all a couple of this kind of greenery. And you can use any greenery. I do this on top also. So I'm going to finish this off. And then we are almost finished with this DIY. So you see already I did the underside and the middle side. And of course now I'm going to do a little bit of the same structure over here I do on his head. But like I told you, you can decorate it any way you like. But you see in a moment how the snowman really turned out. And for a little tip maybe, you can also make a hanger out of here and just do some Christmas balls on top of here. You can do anything you like. You can make a little snowman inside and on each stage. You can do anything you like, but you see mine in a moment.
This is what I'm looking
everything is on the table again. We're using today, of course, the smaller blocks. We have our old piece of kitchen towel, which is wet. We have some paint at your choice. I don't know if I'm going to use the creamy paint. I will be maybe something also with red and brown. We will see. And of course, I have here my container with everything inside, like markers, scissors, brushes, my mud pots, and of course my twine and my wood glue. But you can use some hot glue, but especially also with this DIY, be careful that it doesn't fall apart. So these are the main things. And of course, I must not forget, we need a piece of fabric, but choose any fabric you like. Of course, this is Christmas in July still, so I'm going to make a Christmas DIY. I'm going to make a chimney, but of course with a twist. We will see how this will turn out. So first we're going to do the round of the sides of the chimney. We're going to do 4 times 8 blocks. So we do this very easy. We do some glue on the side at least. Oh my, he's not wanting today, and it's not even Monday. So he already now have nothing. He doesn't want to do it anymore. I'm going to do this one, and of course number 7 is the last, and number 8 is to close you up for your glue. And again, I use the wood glue, but like I told you, you can use the hot glue, but it is always a little bit tricky. Maybe you have some other glue, maybe some, I hear a lot of people about E6000 if I'm correctly. I don't know if that will work or not, but I hope you just find some wood glue, and it can be a very cheap brand. It doesn't have to be an expensive brand. This one is also very cheap. He's only, I think, €2, and he is, you can do so many DIYs with it. So especially if you make the opening not too big. And I did just a simple little opening, but I'm still using too much glue. So don't do it the way that I do it, because I use too much. I'm going to squeeze it from within. And again, over here, squeeze the sides and make a nice straight line. We do here the same. We're going to make, and we're going to squeeze it. And for this one also. And we're going to do here the same. Make a straight line again. And we're going to work from the outside, of the inside to the outside. Sometimes I forget and I just squeeze it and then it pops all out. I'm going to wipe away the glue we don't need. Over here and over here. And like I told you, the glue is making some stains. So if you want to wax it or maybe give it another lighter color, I always recommend, if you have your DIY finished of your project, be sure that you sand it before you're going to paint it. I'm going to give this a couple of minutes. So I gave all 4 of them a couple of minutes drying. What I'm going to do, place 3 of them on this side and this way, and we're going to make sure that we make a nice line with glue over here. We do here the same. And here. And now we're going to place it easily against each other this way until one piece. And this one. And the last. And we're going to carefully just give it some pressure every time and again. Just give it some pressure from the tops. And just easily fill in the open gaps. Just do it and take your time for it. And you see already all the gaps are disappearing. And of course, make sure that you have it in a straight line as much as you can. We're going to wipe away the glue and we're going to let this dry. And this is one side of our chimney. So I already have 4 times 8 again on my table, and I'm going to do only this row together with you. The rest I will do a little faster, because I think you already know how to make now the sides of your chimney. We need, of course, in totally 4 sides. We already made 1. This is number 2, and you still have to make number 3 and number 4. So it is very easy. Every time you just lay 4 times 8 blocks on your table, and every time it is one side of your chimney. So you only have to do 4 sides of the chimney. So again, this is already number 3, and this will in a moment be number 4, and like this. And then you can do the rest for yourself until you have 4 pieces of 4 times 8 blocks. So it's very easy to do. I hope you do this, of course, together with me. So I'm going to squeeze it, line it out, but I will bore you with that. So if everything is correctly, you have now 4 pieces for your sides of your chimney. So you have 4 pieces of 8 here, 4 pieces of 8, 4 pieces of 8, and 4 pieces of 8 here. So I'm going to lay it aside because I want to be sure that I glue them together, that they are really steady, because I don't want them to break, because you give them some pressure on the sides. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to go further with the bottom. You see already I have 4 times 10 blocks over here, so 4 times 10, and I'm going to make my bottom a little bigger because I'm also going to do a little ladder with it. So that's of course not something you have to do. If you think this is much too much blocks for me, then you can do the bottom a little smaller. You also can do it without a bottom. You can make a bottom of cardboard, so you can change it up any way you like. If you think this is a little bit too much of the blocks, then it is fine. But if you are in totally, I think it will not be too many, because you have much more in a package than I have. I have 54, and a lot of you have, I think, 75, if I'm correctly. At least you have a lot more than I have. We only have 54, and that's really not a lot of blocks. If you're making a DIY, you have most of the time a package of 3, 4. That's why I always say have 4 until 5 packages laying around. Then you always you always have enough. And you see already I'm already spilling my glue, but that's not strange for me. I will work it away later. But when you're going to do this DIY with tumbling tower blocks, you have to always have them laying around, a couple more than you normally would use, because then you don't get out of blocks. I order them most of the time in a series of 100. So I'm squeeze this one again. You see already I would do this already from the outside, and you are already seeing that it would pop out. So again, squeeze it from the middle in, and then also over here. And I'm going to wipe away the glue we don't need, and we're going to give it some pressure, and over here, and we're going to wipe away the glue, and over here, and this one, and the last. And of course I'm going to redo my blocks because it is one big mess now. I'm going to make a straight line, and like I told you, you can if you want to use a carpenter's square, it's also fine too, because I have one, but I'm never using it because I always do it with my eyes. But you can do anything you like. So I'm going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. So I gave them a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn them this way, and I'm going to place 3 of them on the side, and that's why I only wait a couple of minutes, that we can work away the open gaps. So again, do some glue over here, we do some glue on this side and on this one, and then we're going to place it against this one over here. Make sure fill it in. We place this one down, and again, and this one, and now we're going to carefully squeeze everything together nicely. Just give it some pressure from the sides every time. Again, just work to the outside from this way to this way every time. Just work away, and you see already sometimes they go out of each other, and then you still work with them. It's just something you have to take your time for. Sometimes we want to do it too fast, and I'm already one of them. But you have to take your time for make it everything connecting nicely together, and then your piece will be much nicer to look at. Sometimes we always want to do it too fast, and over here, and I'm going to let this dry in also. In the meantime, we are going to make our ladder, and of course it will be a small ladder, not too big, because it has to go stand out on the side. So we're going to glue them together. We have 3 blocks, 2 times 3. We do the tops over here and this one, and we're going to place them together. We do here the same, and with this one over here, and this one we're going to squeeze it, fill it in, and here, and we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest before we're going to do the stairs. Of the steps of the stairs, sorry, I would the stairs, of course this is the stair, but of course the steps of the stair, I hear myself saying it, I think this is not correct. So we gave it a couple of minutes, and what we're going to do, I'm going to get 3 loose blocks. Very easy. We do some glue on the underside, and we're going to place them in the middle of the first block. We do here the same, also some glue. And this is just a very easy and simple little ladder, and so we can place it later against the chimney. And we're going to, and of course you don't have to do it if you don't like this, it's totally fine too. You don't have to do it. I'm going to, oh, you see where this is not really fitting nicely. I think the block is not totally even, so then he doesn't want to glue. So we're going to give it over here. I'm going to make sure that they are in a straight line, or else we have them crooked, and that's not what we want. And we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. And if there is glue coming out, get a small brush and just get your wet towel, make it wet, and I will show it to you, and just go simply a line around the lines very carefully. And then you also can see better what you're doing, and if it is straight or not. And also over here, and this side, and here, and here. And you see already I have one of my blocks is much too much in the front, and this one is really in the middle, and this one different. So I have to work with it. I'm just going to place it a little to the back side, and that's the greatest. You still can redo it, and that's not what you can do with the hot glue. So it's always a little tricky to do it with hot glue. So again, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. Now I do a little bit of glue on the tops, and I let it dry in for a couple of, at least 1 minute, I think, before I'm going to turn it over and place it on top. So now I'm going to turn it over and place it on top of here, and also in the middle of the blocks. So let it fall down, give it a little bit of pressure over here and over here. And we're going to make sure that we have it in this side. And of course we have to be sure that everything is fitting nicely. So we are going to place 2 blocks on top of each other, and then we're going to look for that we have it in a straight line like this. So, and now we're going to let this dry. Now we're going to make our chimney, and of course what we're going to do, we make a line on this side at the ending over here. And this way we're going to place this one on top, so really on the top of your piece, and make sure that you have a straight line. And then we're going to place it this way, and we're going to give it some pressure from above until it is a little dried in. And of course you're going to very carefully wipe away the glue as much as you can. And then again, feel with your fingers, because you don't want that the line is offline. At least the line is not straight. At least feel with your fingers on the side. So we're going to let this dry in. Now we're going to get this one, and we're going to make sure that we do some glue on this side. I have to look for a bit if I have the straight line or not. I think I'm going to go for this side. So I'm going to do some glue on this line. So again, and so you have to look for which part is the best for fitting where. And we're going to not place this on top, we're going to place it in front. So on the front side, you're going to place it against this one. So very easy. You just squeeze it over here and give some pressure on the underside. So you don't place it on the top, but you place it in the front of your piece. This one is on top, this one is in front. And again, we're going to give this a couple of minutes so they can dry in a little bit. So I waited a half hour before I did place it straight up, because I have to be honest, this is not in a couple of minutes you can place it straight up. Of course, I should have glued it already straight up in front, so just this, really the same way. But if you are just like me, just do it the way I did it and just wait a half hour, then place it straight up. And now you can easily, if everything is correctly, you can easily fill in with this one. So I'm going to do some glue on this side and on this side. So it's very easy. Of course, I have to look for if I have the side I want to have. Yes, this is the side I want. So I'm going to go for some glue over here, and I'm going to go back because I want to be sure that everything is nice. And now I'm going to do only the inside of here. Oh, so over here. I'm so great with glue. You see already, I'm just one disaster with glue. So I'm going to place this one over here, and we're going to place this one over here, fill it in, and now you still can redo it and give it some pressure from the sides and for the front over here. And I'm going to let it rest in at least for an hour. So take a cup of coffee, just relax, and then we go further. So now we have the sides of our chimney glued together. Now we're going to do the bottom. It's really easy. We just do some glue, a little bit more on the inside. At least we try to do it as much on the inside. Over here, we go around and around. And we're going to place this one on top. And if you look already carefully, you see already we need to do it halfway, the blocks over here. And this one, if you place it this way, you see already we need to spend over one block. So it is easy to find the middle. Of course, I have to look for that I have it this way, because I want to be sure that I have it over here. So I'm going to lay it down. Just move forward a little, and then we already have it in the place we want to have it. We're going to give it a little bit of pressure over here, and we're going to let this dry in also. So I did wait an hour and I turned it over. What I'm going to do, you see already a lot of watchers who is already here for a long time, and maybe you are new here. You see already, and you are thinking, she made that ladder with 3 blocks. How is it possible that it will fit? And that was my idea also. You see already, this is my ladder. This is my chimney. Of course, it is possible. Everything is possible, but we are going to make the ladder a little bit longer, because this is like a ladder from the Smurfs. So this is not going to work. So I'm going to make this one a little longer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get 2 blocks extra on this side, and I'm going to place them together, and I do 2 blocks extra on this side, and we're going to give it a couple of minutes dry time. And again, squeeze it. We're going to wipe away the glue like this. And of course, don't forget the sides. Of course, also over here, or else everything is sticking on each other in a moment. So we're going to let this rest a couple of minutes. And now we're going to do some glue on one of the 2 blocks over here. And we're going to place it down, place this one straight up, and we're going to make sure that we get a nice straight line. So we're filling up this side, and we're going to get 2 loose blocks. We do some glue on the top. We place it in the middle. We do here the same. Place it in the middle again. Give it some pressure. And also over here, give it some pressure. And we're going to let this dry in for at least a couple of minutes. So now I'm going to do some glue on the tops, over here and over here also, and a little on this side. And now I'm going to place it carefully over here. Make sure that everything is fitting nicely and give it some pressure from the top. And we're going to press under here, and then we hope that if it dries up, the leather is at least fitting. So you see already the leather is a little bit better than what I had first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint mine, and I'm going to first start, I think maybe with some cream color, and then I'm going to give it a nice, hope I can let it look like some stone. So we will see how this will turn out. And of course this one we're going to do the same, the leather. And the leather I think I'm going to do in the gray black color, a little bit darker. I also make the sack of the Santa also in the black color. Of course you can do some feet inside, of some Santa feet inside, so he is jumping inside of the chimney, but I'm going to go for Santa's toy bag. So we will see how this will look like. So I have a little bit change of plans. I'm going to do mine in the brown color, and I'm going to give some accent color, probably with some cream or maybe some black. That's the choice I still need to make, but first I'm going to paint this totally in the brown color. So my chimney is in the brown color. I didn't do it totally brown, at least I did it totally brown, but with a little bit kind of a wash effect on it, because I didn't want to have it too dark. So now I have a little bit of my cream and I have my dark gray. So I'm going to do some dark gray inside of here. And I'm going to mix it with some cream to make it a little lighter. And then I'm going to try to make it look like some stone, some cement inside of it. I don't know if it will work. Maybe I have to paint it all over again. We will see. We will see how this will turn out. So I place you a little bit closer. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it not really neat. I'm just going to take first the lines of my frame, of course, like the blocks are, and you see already this is one over here, and you see already one over here, and I try not to do it perfect. I'm going to do over here, and of course the top, but the top just little pieces, not too much, just a little here and there. There's no rhyme or reason how. And then we're going to split it up. We're doing to, of course, a little over here. We do a little line over here and over here, and the last, of course, here. Then we're going to make one over here and one over here. We do one over here, one over here, and one over here. And so we go down, one over here, one here, and one here, and one here. And of course, sometimes do a little bit gray on the sides, that it looks that there is a little bit of cement. At least I think you call it concrete, I think. We call it cement, so you learn also a little Dutch again. And I'm going to do over here, and over here. And we do the same over here and this way. And the last, of course, under here and under here. And then you just work your way what you like the best. This is a little bit what I like. But of course, everyone has his own taste. So I'm going to do all the sides this way. And then I hope it really looks like, like a chimney. And of course, I'm going to do my leather also with this color gray. And I did the dark gray with a little bit of light. So I mixed it up myself. And then I'm going to do all it, and I do the stairs also in the silver color. So I did do my chimney, and now, like I told you, I'm going to do my ladder also in this silver color. And I'm going to use a little bit of a bigger brush, or else it takes so much of my time. But I see already I have it in the cream color, so I have to wash it first. Sorry. I thought I already did. already how the chimney turned out with his ladder. What we're going to do, because I miss a little bit of snow, I'm going to have my snow blanket over here, and I'm going to pull out a little piece, and I'm going to glue them on the side of my chimney, and I'm going to look for if I like it or not. So we're placing this over here, we place this one over here, and I'm going to get out my blanket, and I'm going to look for pulling out some little pieces and see if I like it on the side of my chimney. So you see, I cut out a long side, so, and this one is long enough so I can go totally around my chimney. What I'm going to do most of the time, if you're going to cut out, you can, if you look carefully, you always can pull it apart, and then this side, the inside, is always looking more a little bit, you see already, a little bit more like snow. So I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to place it on top of each other again. But so we're going to do it very carefully and taking our time. So I simply laid it on top of here. It looks now very strange, but don't worry, later it will be fine. I'm going to get now an old t-shirt of me in the black color, and I'm going to make a very easy way. I'm going to make Santa's bag inside of here. So I have here my t-shirt, and of course you can use any fabric you like. You can do some maybe some plaid ribbon, some plaid fabric, maybe some fur. You can use anything. So I'm going to go for the black because I like a little bit of the black and the wood colors in my decor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the underside, because this side is a nice underside. It's a thicker side, and it's a nice thick underpiece, which is sewn on top of here. So I'm going to do very easy. I'm going to show it to you. I'm just going to cut it under the arms this way. I'm going to cut it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. So just cut it to the other side, and just keep it this way. And then we do the next step. So now we have, of course, an opening. We do the underside, the side we don't like, of course, we do inside of our chimney. So really place it in, let it fall down, and we're going to do the rest of the t-shirt over our snow. So as long, because we're going to fill this up. So and make sure that it is a little bit even on all sides. So pull out your shirt and just give it a little space. So now we're going to fill it up. Of course, I'm going to fill it up with some filling before I'm going to, and of course you can use also the old piece of t-shirt. The rest you can do, of course, place it in this way, and you already have the underpiece, you already have your filling for your sack. What we're going to do, I'm going to get some greenery, some things I like to have inside. I keep it very neutral, but you can do some candy canes inside. You can do some Christmas balls. You can do anything inside you like. So I'm going to keep it a little bit simple. So now I have my branches, and of course you see already I have some stamp under here, and of course I'm going to cut it off because or else it will be too big. I think maybe it's I don't know, maybe it is working. We will see. I don't know. So don't cut too short already before you did look for if it works or not. So we're going to do this one inside. Of course we are also going to do one on this side, because when you turn it over, because when you close your bag you are doing it this way, and then the nice side is always on the outside. So be careful that you don't do all the pieces in the same direction, because when you close it, it's always fun that you also see a good side. And we're going to place this one in. Now I'm going to do little pieces of berry inside and let them come out. So one on this side, I'm going to squeeze them in. I know you don't see it really perfect, but later I hope you will. And of course I'm going to place this one on the other side. Maybe I can place you a little closer. You are really close now. You've never been this close. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to have here my metal gold reindeer. And I'm going to place this one in the middle. It is a little bit of a squeezing, but it doesn't matter. The important is that his head is coming out. And now we're going to get some ribbon. And I have here my red and my green. Of course, I show it to you this way. I'm just going to pull out a piece and a piece of the green. And I like this color, but you can then also with the ribbon, like you did with your fabric, choose any color you like. It doesn't matter. You choose for yourself which one you like the best. I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to cut it off. And I'm going to place them on top of each other. Because first we're going to make a very easy fishtail. Of course, when my fingers are working with me, sometimes my hands have kind of a days that they don't want to do what I want. That's always tricky, but we work with it. Of course, at the ending, we do here the same. Place them on top of each other, bend them as best as you can, and cut it in a fishtail. And this way. And now I'm going to close my bag. So very easy. Do my hands under it. You see already. Just place it under here. And then you're going to place your ribbon. You place it halfway. You're going to do your ribbon over here. And over here. And over here. And then you're going to make a knot. The same like you do with your tying your shoes. So I'm going to do this, and I know it's a little bit tricky to see, and I'm not pulling it in too hard yet because I still want to redo it. I'm going to work with my piece and I'm going to let it come out. So, and then you're going to squeeze it in and make a knot on top of here. And then if everything is correctly, you have a nice center bag inside of your chimney. If everything is correctly. But you see in a moment what I did make. Table, is everything ready for already a video for the Christmas in July. Yes, it is already time for Christmas in July. So we are going to do this coming couple of weeks Christmas in July on Decor Easy, and of course also on All About Christmas. So we are going to use some tumbling tower blocks. We have of course our container with everything inside, scissors, markers, brushes, you know the drill, and of course my wood glue, and I have my Mod Podge and some twine. But I use especially also for this DIY, I use the wood glue. If you don't have wood glue and you only have hot glue, of course you can do it with hot glue, but be careful that it doesn't fall apart. I have here some paint at my choice. I don't know which colors I will use. I have to see. And of course I have here my kitchen towel, which is wet to wipe away the glue. And of course for everyone, what we're going to make, we are going to make a Christmas market stand. So we will see how this will turn out. I never know how many blocks I use. That's why I always say keep always 4 until 5 packages in your home, then you can make all the DIYs you like. So this is what we need. Let's start. So our first step will be the legs of our Christmas market stand. Of course, what we're going to do, we're going to have 8 blocks for one side and 8 blocks for the other. So you make 16 pieces of 2 on your 16 pieces on your table. I really explained it so bad. It's so bad. This is just 16 blocks and we're just going to do it very easy. We do some glue in the middle, place it on top. Oh my, oh my. And we do here, place it on top, and this one, place it on top. Here the same, and here just do a little glue in the middle and just glue it together. So place it over here and we're going to place it on the side, squeeze it. Place it on the side, squeeze it and make a straight line. And this way we do it over here. Place it on the side, squeeze it. And here the same. This one also. And the last. And now we have 8 blocks of 2, if everything is correctly. So we're going to give this a couple of minutes. So we gave it a couple of minutes. What we're going to do, because we need 4 legs, we are going to place this one together. We do over here, place this one. We do a number 3, place it together, and number 4. So we make the legs 2 blocks high. And I don't know if I told you in the beginning, I think I didn't tell you, but we're using the smaller blocks. So everyone who is wondering if we use the smaller blocks, yes, the last, I think almost a year, I used the smaller blocks. Before that, I had the bigger blocks because I couldn't get the smaller blocks. And now we can get the smaller blocks, but a lot of you have the smaller blocks. But of course, I still have also the bigger blocks. But I still have to get around to make DIYs for the bigger blocks. So I'm going to give this some rest on the side because I have here my second mat. So I'm going to very carefully place them over here and let them dry because we need to paint them separately. What we're going to do now, we're going to do the bottom. So the bottom, at least the bottom will eventually we turn it over and will be the top. Because first we're going to make kind of a box. And we need 4 rows of 7 blocks. So very easy, you just glue them on the side. Because I make the stand as easy as possible. Because you don't want to use too many blocks. Because if you're making a market stand, you can lose a lot of blocks because if you make it really massive, then it is cost you a lot of money, and then it's always wondering if it's not better to buy such a market stand because then it will be too much money. That's why I always do it as cheap as I can because you still need to have the advantage that you make it yourself, but also that the expensive are not too high. Of course, when you make it yourself, it's always nicer most of the time because you can give your own unique twist on it. And when you buy everything in the store, then it's always many pieces which are the same. So, and of course, that's also fine too, but it's also fine to have something in your home that you made yourself. At least I like that, but I also like thrift shopping so much. So I'm really crazy about thrift shopping because I like old things and change them up, but I don't know why I don't. In the past, especially on the Deco Easy channel, I did a lot of thrift items, but the last time I really into this kind of blocks, and I really love my little blocks and make something and always look for what can I do the best. You see already, this block is really much smaller than the rest. So for this one, because it will be a bottom, I'm going to place it aside, use it for another DIY, because with this one, it needs to be the same measurement. So we're going to place it in between and we're going to squeeze it. And we're going to wipe away the glue we don't need. Of course, here the same. And here. And then always, after you did your cleaning up, always make sure that you still have the straight line. Now we give it a couple of minutes. We gave 4 pieces of 7. We gave them a couple of minutes. What we're going to do, we turn them. We're going to place them on the side this way. And we're going to roll them together. Just do some glue from one side until the other one. Also over here. And on here. And we especially a lot of people who are here already a long time know why I only wait a couple of minutes, because you still can work away your open gaps. And if you wait longer, then it's much difficult to get the open gaps away. See, now you can very carefully every time give it a little bit of pressure and make sure that you press everything together. And of course it can go apart, but it doesn't matter because you just saw it already go out of each other, but you always can fix it because that's the greatest about wood glue. Make sure that you have a nice ending, of course, we have to look for that we have this a little bit on the side and this way. And now we're going to give this some rest, at least a half hour. We are going to now to make the sides of this box. So first we're going to start with the smaller sides, and the smaller sides are 4 pieces of 6. So 4 pieces of 6. So we do very easy, some glue on the sides, and we're going to row them together like this. And also here the blocks needs to fit together because it will be the size, and or else it is not really a nice side to see if one block is really much smaller or bigger and you don't get it worked away easily. In other DIYs it doesn't matter most of the time. There I always work away the blocks which are a little bit of the sizes I need. And this is already number 3 of 6. And this is number 4 of 6. And again, we're going to easily squeeze it. And we're going to make, again, a straight line. We're going to work with it. Of course, I should have pressed it from within. But sometimes I'm really impatient. Not so patient at least. So I'm going to squeeze it from the outside. But you see already, when I'm going to squeeze it, sometimes it pops out. So this way, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. Of course, I wipe away the glue, but I give it a couple of minutes rest. So you see, I gave it a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to make 2 pieces out of it. So I'm going to do 1 and 1. Over here, I'm going to do some glue and place it down. I do here some glue. And place it down again to make 1 piece for the sides and give it some pressure. And of course, you see already it's also not totally dried, and I'm going to do here the same. Give it a little bit of pressure and make sure that everything is nicely stick together this way. So I'm going to give this also a couple of minutes a rest. So now we get the longest side of our stand. And of course, you see already this takes a little bit more of your blocks, but this is the part which has the most blocks. But afterwards, it will be less blocks because this is 4 times 12 blocks. So very easy. You're just going to do the same like you did with the other one. You're just going to do the smaller side. You just row them together until 1 piece like this. And of course I do only 1 row together with you. Don't worry. don't click away because this will only be this row, and then I'm going to do the rest a little faster. So, and number 11, and that's to close you up. So I gave them a couple of minutes. I'm going to place this one on the side, and I'm going to do some glue on the tops over here. And I'm going to place it down, make sure that we have everything with each other. And now we're going to very carefully fill in the open gaps as much as we can. We do here the same. We do some glue on the ending of the block, on the top of the block. And we're going to place this also very nicely together. Give it some little bit of pressure. And then we're going to let this dry in for at least, I think all the parts for a half hour, because before we're going to make the box, we don't want the box is falling apart. So we're going to give it a half hour. And you see, now I have on the table the pieces we just made. This is the 2 times 12, 2 times 12, 2 times 6, 2 times 6 over here, and we're going to make 1 box out of it. So it is very easy. We just do some glue on this side over here, and we do some glue on this side, and we're going to place this straight up. We do here the same. We do some glue on this side and on this side. And we're going to place it straight up. We're going to get this one, place this one over here. We're going to carefully place this over here, this one over here. And we're closing it up with the bigger one. And again, very easy. We're just going to give it a little bit of pressure. Just take your time for it. That's really the most important, like I always tell you. Just take so, and there you are again. You just fell out on me. I had too much videos on my telephone. He didn't want to do it anymore. He thought it's enough. So I have to remove first a couple before I could go further. So you see already I glued the 4 pieces together. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to get our glue. We're going to make the line from, at least from the wider side on the inside. And we're going to go over here, and over here, and this way. And I want to be sure that I have it enough on the inside, because there will be our top. The top is not totally fitting, not totally the same size. That's the better word. It's fitting, but not always the same. So I'm going to place this one on top, and I think you already see now what I mean. We're just going to let it fall. This one is really straight. It's the same size. Only here you have a little overlay and a little overlay over here. And we're going to give it a little bit of pressure only on the outsides. And be sure that you have on this one and on this side the same piece which is sticking over, because that's what you want. A little this way. And we're going to let it rest at least also for a half hour. In the meantime, while this is drying, I'm going to carefully place it on the other mat so it can dry nicely. I have here my 4 legs. What I'm going to do, I'm already take that time, and I'm going to get my creamy color, because I do mine in 2 colors, I think in red and creamy white. So I'm going to paint already my legs in the creamy color. So I take the time when my piece is drying, and a little on the top, but of course choose any colors you like. Maybe you have it totally different. You can even get spray painted in totally in the gold color. It's also if you are really a glam person, so you can change it up, or maybe black. So you can change it up any way you like. So I'm going to take my time to paint the 4 legs. So that's already finished. So I have my 4 pieces. I'm going to place them on the sides to dry. They are already almost dry, because chalk paint is already very easy to dry. Of course, I'm going to remove my paint. What I'm going to do, now we're going to make, we have now the feet, 4 feet. We have now the box, which we are going to turn around. We can use it as a counter on top. Now we need the sponge on the side before we can place the roof on top of there. So what we're going to do, we're going to take 2, 2, and 2, and 2. This is already for 1. Now we're going to do, of course, we have 2 sides. And now we already have also the other side. What we're going to do is very easy. We're just going to do some glue, and we're going to place it together. We do some glue, place it together, and over here, and this one, and this one. We do the other side also, place it together. Oh, he's already turned it over. Then the glue is walking a little bit more down over here, and now we can squeeze it. And the last one, and we're going to press it down. Of course, we're going to make sure that we have a nice straight line, and we're going to remove the glue. So again, squeeze it and press it. You can dream it. If you follow me for a long time, you probably think, oh my, this is really a nightmare for me if I hear it every time again. So I'm going to wipe away the glue, and then we're going to glue them together. So we gave them a couple of minutes. We're going to do the tops with some glue over here. Roll them together, and this one, and we're going to place it down, place all 4 of them, and this way, and we're going to squeeze it until 1 piece, and we're going to wipe away the glue, and see, you get a nice side for your stand. This is 1, number 2, and number 3. And we row them together again, squeeze it, and make sure that we have a nice straight line. Of course, die needs to move a little. And we're going to make sure that we give this at least a half hour, because we are going to saw one point in this block to give the roof some body. So in the meantime, while also our side parts are drying, we are going to do 2 times 12 blocks, because I'm going to do the roof a little bit different, because I am going to give it the other side. I do one side together and I'm going to hang under it some Christmas greenery. But if you want to make the roof in totally, then you need 4 times 12, because you glue this together and this 2 together, and then you're going to glue them on top of your sides thing if you want to have a complete roof. But I'm going to go for a little bit of a different approach. Maybe I will be sorry for what I'm doing, but we will see how this will turn out. So I want to do it a little different. I want to hang out on the underside some Christmas greenery. We will see how this will turn out. So I'm going to glue my 2 12 pieces together. But like I told you, if you're going to make the whole roof, you need 4 times 12 pieces and make 2 parts of it. And this one, I'm just going to row them very easy together. But I thought it is Christmas, and you also can do it, of course, if you are for the fall season, you can do some fall leaves coming out of it. So you can change it up any way you like. You don't have to follow the rules for only having a whole roof. You can just do it your way and change it up any way you like. Because that's always the greatest. Make it unique and make it your own way. So I'm already to the last of the blocks, and I'm going to make from within. I'm going to squeeze it, press it together, and this way, and make a straight line. And again, press it from the inside. You saw already he was want to pop up, and I'm going to squeeze it. And I'm going to wipe away the glue, and I'm going to let this dry for a couple of minutes. So, and of course I told you let it dry a couple of minutes, but that's not for me, because I'm going to let it dry in at least a half hour before I'm going to paint it. But if you are having 4 pieces of 12 over here, then you glue one together and you glue this one together, and then you fill in the open gaps and then let it dry in half hour. So that's only for everyone who is doing the whole roof. But I'm going to let this dry in also now in half hour. So I place now my 2 sides on the table. So the 4 blocks of 2 I placed on the table, and I was a little bit looking for what kind of a point I want to have when I get to saw it. And I'm going to go for this one. Maybe this is better, because if you do it a little bit wider, if you do it more point, it will be very narrow. But if you do the sides a little bit wider, then your roof is also getting a little bit more wider on top of there. So, but if you like it a little smaller, then you have to go this way. But I'm going to go a little for this way, because I need to have some greenery under it. So I'm going to saw this off. It's only little pieces you have to saw. You can easily do it with a hand saw. And then, of course, I'm going to double it up on this one, so I have 2 of the same pieces. So I'm going to go to my garage and I'm going to saw it off. So you see already, I have my 2 points over here, and I just lay them on top of each other and sand them as long as they are really nicely fitting. Everyone has their own way of gluing the roof on top of their stand, because I don't know how there is a really agreed right way, because it's difficult. It's always difficult to get your roof on top of here. So I'm going to go for doing some glue on this top. So, and I'm just going to do my way, but if you have a better way, and maybe you can use hot glue, because that sticks really nicely immediately. I'm only going for this way, and I'm going to very carefully place them together, and I'm going to let them dry in for at least an hour, and then I'm going to turn it over for the other side. But if you have a better way, just do whatever you think it's right. I just go for this way. So in the meantime, while our roof is drying, I'm going to glue my legs under my the market itself, the stand. So I'm going to make sure, first I'm going to do all 4 of them together this way, and I'm going to make with my marker the place where I want to have them glued inside here, so I'm sure that every piece is sticking out the same, or else you get crooked legs, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to make a line over here so I can glue them over here. So I made my marks, and of course I'm going to do some glue because I want to glue them on top of here. So first I'm going to look for where my mark is the best, of course over here. So I'm going to do some glue on this side and of course on the underside. I almost was thinking where I want to glue my legs, and I'm going to glue them, and I make the line in front of here, and I'm going to keep it in place for a little moment. And so I'm going to do all 4 of them and turn around, but give them enough time to dry, at least maybe a quarter 15 minutes by leg. So of course, even when you have your glue gun, if you hot glue, then it's maybe only a couple seconds, but if you have my glue, then you have to wait a little moment. So I have my legs under the market stand, and I'm going to now paint this. My idea was to do it in the bright red, but I'm not really happy with that, so I'm going to do it totally in the cream color. I think my greenery is popping out a little bit better, so I'm going to go for that color, but choose any color you like. So I'm going to take my time for it, and I'm just going to go and give it the creamy color. So you see already, here is my underpiece drying of our market stand. Of course, I took out my ladders, my wooden ladders, and these are the thin ladders. I think you can buy them everywhere. So I did the word Christmas market, but you can do any word you like. I'm going to get my black marker, and I'm going to mark them all in the black color, but you also can do a red color. You can do anything. So you can also do a little tag on top of there, or maybe a print and just Mod Podge on top. The ideas are endless, so you can do anything you like. So I keep it very simple. I just do Christmas market. So I'm going to mark all of them black. So I place my letters on the side, and I'm going to get my roof, and I'm going to paint this also in the creamy white color. And then before I'm going to glue it on the stand, I'm going to do some Christmas greenery coming on the outside, but you see that in a moment. First I'm going to give it the creamy white color. So in the meantime, while our roof is drying also, I'm going to do my letters on the front. And of course I did Christmas market, but like I told you, you can do anything. So I'm going to lay it down on my piece, and I'm going to look for where I want to have it exactly, or maybe I like it is too big that I don't like it. So I'm going to look for which one I like the best. That's also something, play around with it. Oh, you see already, and the T and the A and the S, it's a long word, I see. I see already. So we have to go a little this way. So we're going to go over here and over here, make some room, and we're going to go over here. Then of course we're going to, I give it a little bit of a rounding, and then we do a market under here. So of course you see in a moment, I won't bore you with gluing the letters on top, because I think you already know. So I'm going to glue it on top, and don't worry, you see it backwards, but at the ending you will see it the right way. So you see already, I have here laid down my letters. They are drying right now. What I'm going to do, I did lay my roof on his side on a piece of kitchen towel, because I don't want to scratch my roof, of course. So I'm going to place this one down. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get pieces of 3 with some greenery, and of course you can choose any length you like. I'm sorry, I have a little cold, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take this one, but you see already, if you have greenery, most of the time one side is flat, the other side has some texture. But of course, make sure that you have the texture on the outside, or else you have on the outside a flat space, and that's not what you want. So you have to glue it just in the opposite direction when you think you need to do. So I use this as my measurement. I don't want to have it longer than this one. So I place this one already in the middle, and I have the same one also for the other side, because I'm going to glue first on this side. But I think I'm going to show you a little from the other side. I did turn you a little bit this way so you can see a little bit better inside of my roof. And of course, like I told you, I've placed this one down. Now I'm going to make sure that I have the flat side on this side and the nice side on the outside. So I'm going to do this one in the middle. So it's always a little bit difficult when you glue it on the other opposite direction. So you just do some glue and you place it over here. Make sure that you place it down, squeeze a little and keep it in place for a little moment until your glue is dried up. And of course it is hot glue, it is dried very fast. So, and now I'm going to get little pieces of 3, and you can choose any size you like. Of course, I'm going to do also on the outside. This one's a little bit too, not really that great size, so I'm going to do it. Oh, you see already, I'm going to glue this one also over here, and I'm going to place this one next to the other, but a little bit over the other one. So again, over here, squeeze it and keep it in place for a little moment until it is dried up. And so we go to the sides to the ending. So you see I did 4 pieces this way, and now I'm going to make sure that this is a nice to look at, because it's not really a nice side if you have this side. So I'm going to take some loose pieces, very easy, just glue the back side and just fill it in the corners with some glue, so you have a nice look and you don't see the stem anymore, because that's not a great side to see. So I have here another one, and this one I'm going to cut off the little piece of the plastic because we don't like that. And we're just going to do the right side, the flat side we're going to glue because we want to see it this way. And we're going to place it in between. And I have here also another one. I'm going to cut it a little shorter, and I'm going to place it on top of here. This way, and I'm going to squeeze it in to make sure that everything is nicely filled in. And it's just a nice relaxing way to do your greenery, because I love greenery, but it's maybe not everyone's cup of tea. So I will show it you a little bit closer like this. Oh, you see here. And now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the other side, but I do that a little faster, of course. So you see already, I did also 4 pieces over here. I'm going to get some loose again. I'm going to do some glue over here, and I'm just going to fill in the open gaps because we don't want to see an open side over here. So we're going to easily get off a couple of the loose one, cut off the plastic, and again we're going to make sure we're going to do some glue. We do this one in the other side, and we're going to place it in and just fill in the open gaps. And I see already another one, and over here, and we're going to place this one on top of here. And so this is very nice to do because it's so much fun. At least if you love greenery. If you don't love greenery and you hate it, then this is not your thing. But I think it will look very nice. Of course, now I have my green roof already. Of course, you see already some glue over here. Of course, we're going to move it away. And now I'm going to do some red berries over here to give it even more a Christmas touch. And this is, I did only 2 pieces of the berries on here, but you can go as crazy as you like. You can even do some letters over here. You can do some greenery on the top. I mean, over here, this you can easily fill it up. Maybe I will do that also. I don't know. But I think he looks already very nice. So the only thing what we need to do is we're going to glue it on top of our stand. So I'm going to place this over here. And I hope it will stand okay. And I'm going to get my stand, of course. And I'm going to place this one over here. And now the only thing what we need to do is, of course, we need our wood glue. I know it is a little bit crazy because you are standing on the different side from me. So I have to do everything in one hand. So I'm going to do some glue on this side, over here, and on this side, over here. So, and then I'm going to place it on top of here. And I'm going to place it in the middle, over here. And I'm going to let this rest in for at least a couple of hours before I show you the reveal, but for you it's only a second. Table are the things we need for this DIY. It looks a lot, but it isn't. It really, don't worry about it. It's only a couple of blocks, the smaller blocks, my container with everything inside, scissors, markers, brushes, some twines, my wood glue. Of course, you can use some hot glue, but like I always tell you, be careful that it doesn't break. Of course, I have here some paint, and I use a little bit of the dark gray paint, maybe later also a little bit of the silver, but you can choose any color. I have here, I won't pick it up, but these are little, I will pick it up, but a little bells. You see already like this, a couple of bells. So if you have them laying around from last year, of course, some greenery, because we still have Christmas in July. And I have here a piece of twine, a piece of rope, but it is a thicker rope. So I hope you have also something thicker, and also, or else you can do a couple of layers and turn it into each other and then glue it, and then you also have a thicker piece. So it's very easy to make for yourself. So these are a little bit, and of course my wet towel to wipe away the glue we don't need. What we're going to make a wooden board for behind our home decor, or maybe on your front porch, or maybe you're in your backyard. You can use it for anywhere in your home. So we will see how this will turn out. So the first step will be 2 times 3 blocks, and you see already we are going to glue some on the top and on this top, and we're going to row them together this way until one piece, and we do here the same and over here, and we're going to make sure that we have a nice line. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it has to be look like it is a kind of an old piece, but of course if you want to look it like a new piece, then of course do it as straight as you can, because then you're going for a different look. I'm going to turn it off, wipe away the glue, and here the same. And of course it is not glued together yet, because it is wood glue, and wood glue is not gluing immediately. That's the greatest, because you still can redo it. We give it a couple of minutes drying. So now as my next step, I laid down 7 rows of 9 blocks, so 7 rows of 9, and we're going to get the longest side, and we're going to easily just make a thin line and row them together very easy this way. And take your time for it, because that's always better than you rush it. But sometimes I try to do it as fast as I can, because I am wanted to show everything and every step. So that's why I try to do it as fast as I can, but I don't succeed a lot, because my DIYs are most of the time I already trying to do it at least around a half hour, of maybe 28 minutes. But with bigger DIYs it's difficult, especially because we are always doing it step by step, because that's what I like, that everyone can make the same DIY and give their own twist on it, of course. And everyone has his own taste. I have periods of taste, because I'm already a little older. I'm 56 years old, so I'm already a little older. And so you see already in the years, your taste is always changing. I have a period that I loved the peach color. I have a period that I like the red color. Some pinks I did do in my home. And of course yellow. I had a lot of hydrangeas in every color. So I did already a lot of changing up in the years. But the last time I'm a little bit more of the neutral tones, like the blacks, the wood color, the yeah, a little bit, no, not totally, yeah, a little bit cream, but not too much. I don't have a lot of cream in my home, but it's more like a black and the wood tones and that kind of thing. And I love greenery, and that's all never changed in the years. I love the green, especially the greenery from IKEA. I really am happy about, and a garden center we have here in the Netherlands. And I wish they could also order online, but people outside of the Netherlands can't order online because they just don't do that. But they have really great prices for greenery. But what I see on a lot of YouTubers is that they have like home goods and yeah, home goods, Walmart and Target and that kind of stores also have a lot of beautiful greenery, especially garlands. You have so many garlands and ribbons. That's not something what we have here. Maybe here in the Netherlands people don't decorate that much. So I'm jealous on your garlands and of course your ribbons. That's really amazing. You have so much ribbons, and I order always the ribbons online on Temu or AliExpress, just where I can find them. And of course it's getting better. It really is getting better, but it's not where you have, if you see some shopping videos, it is really rows and boxes full of the beautiful ribbons. I don't understand why is it not possible to order them online. Because I also try to look for the Dollar Tree online, but it is not possible from out here. And of course I understand because the sending is really expensive. That's why I also, because my DIYs I make, I have a lot of DIYs, so I am really having too much, and I would love to send people the DIYs, but I can't because they are so expensive just to send a DIY. So you see already, in the meantime, I talk too much. You see already that I have from the inside to the outside, I press them together, make a straight line. Now I'm going to get my wet towel, wipe away the glue and make sure that I have a straight line again. So I have now my 7 pieces. I'm going to turn them just this way to place them in this length. And they are really just fitting on my mat. What I'm going to do, of course, I'm going to place this one on the side, this one on the side, and it can fall apart, so don't worry about it. It doesn't matter because you easily can row it together again. So this is our start, and you see already this block is already a little smaller, but we're going to try to work with it because I always say it's a waste of your blocks to throw it away. That's why we try to use all the blocks we can. And I know, like Sharon, you also told that you also have difficulties with all the sizes of your blocks, and I have here the same problem, but I think a lot of you have the same problem. Sometimes you don't understand because it's something you are made in a kind of a machine. They don't do it by hand, so you do it with a machine, and you don't understand. If you do the measurement in the computer, then every block should have been the same, but it isn't. It is not the same. But like I tell you, we're going to work with it, and we're going to try to fill in the open gaps. And the ending is not a problem if the ending is not straight, because it will be a board. So it doesn't matter. It is even like a little better if the fitting is not nicely, because we want to give it an old look. If you go for a really neat look, yeah, then it's maybe you can sand it off if your ending is not totally perfect. So we're going to give it and press it. And lightly, every time you just go from one side to the other one and just very carefully just fill in the open gaps. And even it is possible when you squeeze here that it will whoop, pop out in the middle. Just place it down again, just glue everything together, because that's just the block sometimes. And I always say don't let it discourage you, because it is what it is, and I have it so many times. So don't worry about it. We're going to give this at least a half hour drying. So in the meantime, while this is drying, we have of course already our two pieces of 3. What we're going to do, we are going to glue them a little lower, but make sure that still one block is on top of here. So it's not really the half, but a little bit lower from the first. I think you already see what I mean. If I tell it in English, it's not always always a great thing. So I'm going to go for this. Give it a little bit of pressure. And if you don't like it where it is later, you still can redo it, because like I told you, wood glue is very forgiving and you can easily make it a little lower or higher. I have to go a little higher. And of course I see already one of the pieces is already coming out, and this hair of some curl. So I'm going to place this here. Now I'm going to get a loose block, 2 pieces. Now I'm going to do some glue on the underside and a little on the inside. So it's over here and on under here and on the inside. I'm going to place this halfway between the first and the second, and I'm just going to place it over here on this side. Then I get another one. I'm going to do some glue on the underside and a little line under this block. I'm going to place this one halfway the second or the third or the first, and it's just depends how you see it. And we're going to squeeze this one to give it a little bit more texture, because normally you have always a piece of wood to a little poles, or we call it balken over here, but I want to give it a little bit more structure or texture, just how you call it. And I'm going to place this one, of course, this one I have over here, I'm going to go for this one on this side, halfway. And I'm going to look for if I have a little bit of the same space in between. And now I'm going to go for this one, some glue over here and on the inside. And I place this already, of course, also halfway, but then on this side. And I'm going to give it a little bit of pressure, and we're going to let this rest for a little moment. So now I'm going to place this part over here on my second mat I always have laying around over there. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take 4 blocks like this. So I'm going to do the tops, because we're going to make a little kind of a box for the front sides, because we're going to make, of course, a little, not a planter, but a crate for our Christmas tree. At least our Christmas tree we create ourselves. Again, we're going to give some pressure. We're going to wipe away the glue in this way. Now what we're going to do, because this is drying, we're going to do 2 blocks, place it on the side, and we do a loose block. And we do very easy, we do some glue on this side, and we do some glue on this side, place it down, and we're going to press this one over here, give some pressure, and we keep this in place, and we give some pressure over here. So we get kind of a U. So, and we're going to let this rest in also. Now we are going to get 4 blocks, at least if I did measure out correctly. You will see in a moment if I was right or not, but at least I hope, and or else we're just going to build a little bigger. And number 3 and number 4 is the closure up. Squeeze it, press it together, and we're going to wipe away the glue we don't need. So again, and we're going to let all of them dry in for at least 15 minutes. Now we're going to place one of the 2 pieces we glue together. We do some thin line over here, and we're going to place them this way in one piece. Squeeze it and make sure that the sides are straight, and we're going to wipe away the glue like this, and we're going to give this also a couple of minutes again. What we're going to do, we are going to do some glue on this side, over here, over here. We're going to place it down. We do some glue over here, around, and we're going to place this one over here, And we're going to do some glue on the tops of the piece of 4 over here, this one. And now we're going to place it on top of here, and we're going to make kind of a little box we can use later as the planter of our Christmas tree. So we're going to give this a couple of minutes rest. I've now gave it a half hour drying, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my dark gray paint. I liked it a little bit better than the black, because the black is really difficult to give it a nice smooth layer. And this gray to poke out, this is acrylic paint. You can buy it anywhere. I'm just going to do some paint on top of here. I don't measure out too much because I always like this. And I'm going to do an old brush. You see already this one is really old, and that's what I like, because then I can give it a little bit more texture to my piece. So I'm just going to go over it and just do a little on each space, a little over here. Just make sure that you place it a little bit everywhere. And of course over here, and we're just going to go work with it. And when everything is in with the paint, then I'm going to do the brush real hard, and I'm going to scratch off a lot of my paint, so it gives a nice structure. But first we're going to paint everything and just go over it, and then we're going to give it our texture. So I won't bore you with that. I will paint first the whole piece. So you see already I painted the whole piece, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, with an old piece of kitchen towel, of paper kitchen towel, I'm just going to wipe away and make sure that I go over with my old brush in one length. Of course not this way or a thing, but we're going to give it a little bit of texture, and we're going to remove the glue of the glue, I already say, the paint we don't need, and we're going to give it some lighter pieces inside, because that's what you get if you get away a little bit of the acrylic paint over here. And we're going to, and that's always the greatest about old brushes. Old brushes work always better than new one. So we're going to go over it, and we go over this one and the middle piece. We're going to remove the paint. I don't know what I have with the glue, but I keep saying glue, but of course you know what I mean. And we go over here, and I think it already looks a lot better with only some lighter pieces inside. Over here, and we go over here. Take your time for it, because it's a lot of fun to do. So take your time for it. It's really relaxing. So let me know in the comments if you made this one, if you find it also relaxing, because I do. So my piece is dried up. What I'm going to do, I have here a little piece of a little bit of paint, but I did a little of my darker gray, and I mixed it up with a little of the cream. And of course I'm going to give it a lighter touch on my board. Just dab it in a little, and we're just going to go over, of course, on my kitchen towel, and then just go a little bit of the stretch, not too much, because I don't want to see too much. So I only do little pieces, a little bit on the ending. So just do a little dab, and just do as much as you like. If you don't like it, just don't do it. I just do little pieces and not too much. So I take more time for it, and then we're going to do the little box. So you see already the board is drying over here. I'm going to get my little, which will be my box. Of course, what I'm going to do, I'm going to first give it the same color like I distressed my board with. So the lighter color. So I'm just going to paint this, and also do it later with the other brush, and just wipe away a little of my paint, the same like we did with the board. But first I'm going to paint this in this little bit kind of the silver color, but I choose this color, but of course you can choose any color you like. So I'm going to do this a little faster because or else you get very bored. So you see already I painted the whole piece now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my old brush, the one we use also for our our board. Sorry, that was a little bit of Dutch. So I'm going to go over it and I'm going to wipe away as much as my brush will do, because we want to give it a little bit of the lighter color, and we do it on the front side because this side you will see over here. And I'm just taking my time for it because this is also, like I told you, very nice to do. So I'm going to take my time. You see already it's getting lighter and lighter. So I'm going to do this sides and this side, and then we're going to let it dry and we're going to glue it on top of our frame. And our piece is dried up, and of course our little box is dried up. What you also can do, if you want to give it a little bit more like a farmhouse look, you can do some cross over here. I don't know if I will do it, maybe I will do it later, but for now I'm going to keep it this way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do some glue, but more on the inside as much as I can over here, and I try to do it over here. And I leave this space open because if I do this with glue, I'm sure that everything will pop out. And now I hope it will stay in place. I'm going to do it a little on top of here. And I'm going to do 1.5 block over here and 1.5 block over here. Then I am really on the place I need to have it. So I'm going to lay it down over here. And I'm going to let this dry in at least 4.5 hours. So I laid away my board, and I have here now my thick piece of rope, and I have here some thinner twine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do my hot glue, and I'm going to make a nice finishing, because this will, if you glue it, it goes out of each other, and that's not what we want. So we're going to make sure that we keep it in place for a little moment like this. So we turn it the way it is curled together. So I'm going to do a little glue over here, place it over here. I place my piece of twine inside, and we're going to wait until it is dry. And like this, and of course I need my fingers back. I'm going to give this way and make sure that everything is dried up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to carefully go to this side, and then I'm going to make little turns until the ending again, like this. And we're going to turn it, and now I'm going to give it a little bit of glue because we're going to come to, oh, mine is already out. That's not what we want. I don't know why he does go out. I did place them on on the battery already along, but I hope he will give some glue. And I'm going to place my twine inside, and again I'm going to do some glue because we're coming to the end. We're going to turn it, and we're going to turn around over here until we are completely at the ending. Of course, be careful with the glue. I don't feel a lot with my fingers, but you probably will. So, and that's not what we want. So again, do some glue, and we're going to build it around until here. Of course, I have to turn, but my twine of my rope is not going with me. So this way, and I'm going to cut it off. It looks like a mess, but don't worry, it will be fine. I'm going to cut it off. And I have to be sure because that's my rope. My rope is not one to turn with me. And I'm going to pull this off. And now I'm going to make a little round in between. And you just do it very easy. Just lay it inside over here in a little round. And then you're going to keep it in place until your glue is dried up like this. And now we have a nice ending of start of our rope. I'm going to measure out how long I need because we don't need it too long. So we have here the board, and you can do the middle piece in different ways. I'm going to glue this one off here, and I do a straight line, so mine don't have to be longer than I think this one. So I'm going to cut off, but you can also give it a little bit of a turn. You can do anything you like, but I'm going to go for the straight line, or else for me it is not a real Christmas tree. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go cut this one, and it's always a little hard because this is really a thick rope. Thick rope. So I'll take my time for it to cut it. I won't let you wait on it. Yeah, I did cut it. It was really a hard thing to do, especially because I have arthritis in my hand. So for me, this is really a task to do. But of course, we are going to do the ending the same like we do the start. So again, do some glue. We're going to place already a little piece of our rope over here, and like this. And we are going to turn it around again, the same like we did with the start. And we're going to do this way, and we're going to turn it, and we're going to go over this one, and we're going to make sure that we turn this away. And we do here some glue again, the same like we did with the other side. So I take my time for it, and of course take your time also. So you see already we have now our little piece. What I'm going to do, I'm going to first glue the top on the box, and we do it of course in the middle. We're going to squeeze it and this way, and we're going to keep it in place for a little moment, and we're going to put away the glue we don't need, like this. And we wait until everything is dried up, and then we're going to do some glue under here, and of course we're going to do the line on top and make sure that this one is over here. What you also can do, if you don't want to have too much glue like I don't like, of course we do it this way. We're going to turn it, we give some glue only on this side, and we're going to place it back, and we're going to do a straight line, and we glue it over here. And now we are sure that we don't mess glue on this side and this side. So again, just let it dry in. So you see already I have now here my board, and this is how it's looking like right now. What I'm going to do, I did place my greenery on the table, and I just took a couple of this kind of stems with different sizes of greenery. And you see already this is a little bit of the darker, a little bit of the lighter green. I make sets of two which are fitting together. All two of them have the same size, so I made little clusters of two and place them over here. My idea is, of course, I'm going to start with the bigger ones, and I hope to end with a couple of the small ones to give it a little bit the look of a Christmas tree, but we will see how this will turn out. So I'm going to start with the bigger ones, so I'm going to place them a little over here. So we're going to do some glue on the back side, just a little, and we're going to place it in over here, of course a little lower, and we're going to keep it in place for a little moment. We do here the same, a little glue on the ending, and we're going to place it the same over here, and I'm going to look for that I have the same diagonal, if I don't know, at least the way it's going to point. Oh, my English today is really awful. I really am sorry. I'm doing my best, but I know it is not perfect. So I'm going to look for if I'm going to place this a little on top this way. No, I'm going to lay them both on top of each other, and I'm going to cut off on both of them a little piece over here, and I'm going to place them over here. So I'm going to do some glue over here, and I'm going to squeeze and fill it in, and this way I'm going to do here the same. a little on the ending. And I'm going to fill it in the same like I did with the other one. Again over here. And you can do any shape you like. If you don't like the Christmas tree, you can do something else. Of course, I have here again 2 of the same, and I'm going to make sure that I have them a little bit shorter also. I'm going to cut off both of them together, and I'm going to look for fitting them inside of here. Of course, you see already they need to be shorter, so they are shorter, but I have to press them very hard inside. So I'm going to do, because I didn't do the middle piece glued together, so I have room for placing my greenery inside over here. I do here the same, but of course I'm going to squeeze this also under the rope again over here, and I'm going to squeeze it in that I'm sure that he is shorter than the other one, and this way. And now I'm going to get this too. I'm going to look for how short I need to. I have to cut off a little ending, double them up, and of course I'm going to cut off a little piece. And now I'm going to look for, of course, over here, and I'm going to work a little bit with it over here. So, and you can do anything, and I use of course Christmas greenery, but you can use any greenery you like. So a little the same. And now we're going to do this one. Place it over here, and again squeeze it under here. And so I'm going to go to the top side. Of course I'm going to work this a little bit more down, and you also can do a little bit glue on the back side, and this stays better on this side. So we easily going to work with it to make sure that we get a nice shape. I go to the top, and then you see of course the next step. So you see, this is how I made mine, and of course you can change it up any way you like. Of course, if everything is glued nicely, just get your fingers and make them come up a little so they get give a little bit more structure or texture. So over here, and what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to have here my little bags with, you already hear it, with some bells. I try not to make too much noise. And they are a little bit like the rustic look. So I'm going to look for where I can glue a couple of them. Of course, I want to have a couple of them on top of here. Maybe I do them, I don't know the way I want to do it, but I will have to figure out if I do maybe 3 or maybe on the underside. I really don't know. I have to figure out, but you can do anything to decorate. You can do some red berries, you can do some other greenery, you can do some other bells, some little Christmas bulbs. You also have the little ones for the mini trees, so you can change it up any way you like. So I'm going to play a little bit where I want to have it. And I have here my wooden star. This is from a banner. You see already this is thin wood, very thin, and I'm going to cut mine because I don't want the round. So I'm going to cut off a little piece of the wood. Of course, it is always easier when it looks. And of course, I'm going to cut off a little piece over here. And I make a kind of a star shape over here. So, and then I'm going to give it a gold color, and I'm going to glue it properly on the top. But we will see how this will turn out. You see already I don't have the bells yet because I was debating with myself if I would do it, and I don't like it. I don't really like it. So I did the star in the gold color like I told you. I just made a bow from a three double piece of my twine. You see already this thin twine, and that 3 times, and then just the way you tie a shoe, you just make a simple bow on top. I am still debating if I am going to do a couple of little rounds and colored a wooden round and color it in the gold color, just to give it a little bit idea of a bow. But You see in a moment if I did, but so far, of course, you can give your own twist on it. I really would love to see if you make this one. Maybe you can send an email because we would love to see it, how yours is turned out. So in a moment, you see my... On the table other things we need for this DIY, and everyone who is paid attention already is seeing that these are the bigger blocks. I have one big crate still left over from my I think from a year ago, because now I'm doing all of them with the smaller blocks, but of course I still have some packages laying around with the bigger blocks, and I was looking at them and I think, why not? I'm going to do today one DIY again with the bigger blocks. And of course we use our container with everything inside, some scissors, brushes, some mud pots, some twine, and of course our wood glue. I don't recommend this time also not the hot glue, because it's very tricky that it falls apart. So I'm going to go for the wood glue. Of course, choose some paint at your the color you like, because I think I'm going to do it in the black color, but not this black. I'm going to do a black which is not totally covering its everything. So we will see how this will turn out. And of course, I have here my old piece of kitchen towel, which is wet, to wipe away the glue. And these are the main pieces we need for this DIY. I'm going to make some stands. It's not really a topiary, but it's some stands you can place anywhere in your decor and gives really kind of a statement. So we will see how this one turned out. So the first step will be 3 times 7. Of course, you can do this also with the smaller blocks. Only your piece will be a little bit smaller, but you can do it also with the smaller blocks. It is really strange to have them in your hands because they are so big right now. I am most of the time busy with the smaller blocks, and now they are so big, so big. So I'm going to glue the longest side over here and of course over here. So I hope that you also have a couple of the longer blocks in your stash still. Or maybe you can find a couple of longer blocks if you want to make this DIY at least. And place this together. We do this over here. And this one. And this will be the bottom. And of course, I think I'm going to double it up, but I have to look what I'm going to do. How big it will be. Because for me it's also a little bit unfamiliar what to do, because it's already a long time ago that I did the bigger block. So I'm going to squeeze it, and I see already what was the reason that I did go over to the smaller blocks. The smaller blocks have different sizes, but the bigger blocks was really so different in size. And I see already, you see, this one is so much bigger than the other one. So I have to take this one out because it's much too big. So I'm going to do another block over here. I hope you have better luck, because this is really, and you see this one is totally crooked. It is really hard. Now I remember, now I'm busy with the block. I get a flashback that I know why I didn't like it, at least because the last time of the last period I used the bigger block. It was really hard to find the smaller blocks over here, but this is really also so different in size. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes drying. So I'm going to turn them this way, and I'm going to place them on the side, and we're doing some glue over here. And we place this one on the side. And of course, the same like with the smaller blocks, your blocks can still fall apart because it's not totally dry, but it doesn't matter. And you see already, oh my, you see already how much there is a difference in blocks. Oi, oi, oi. It is really awful. But we're going to try to make our best because we don't give up. We never give up. But this is really, really a lot of difference in blocks. They are really so crooked, and that's not a thing, but a lot of people use this kind of blocks for making DIYs. And how frustrating is this, that you can't make a straight line, you can't make it is really, and you see this already, this one is so much smaller. But we are not complaining, we're just going to try. So this will be really an experiment again. I'm going to place this aside and let this dry in for at least a half hour. So I was looking, before I will put it away for drying, I was looking for make a double layer over it. But I need, if I want to do a nice fitting without sewing, it is easy, then I need to go one longer than this. So I'm going to go for 3 rows of 8, not 7, but 3 rows of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if it's correctly, then you can easily, and without too much of your blocks, you can easily make a border around it. So you see, this is already 1. So we're going to place this over here. What we're going to do right now we can easily go around. Oh, I'm already doing this. I am really in no idea. Just make 3 rows of 9. I'm completely out of my zone with the bigger blocks. I really have to think every time. Sorry for the chaos, and especially for the English. So what we're going to do, you have here your 3 rows. Your blocks are pointing this direction. So very easy. You do some glue over here. And you do some glue on one of the sides. You place them on top of here. You do here the same, just some glue over here. And you're going to place this over here. And the other one will be mixing over here. And you already have your first row of your double layer. So very easy. We're going to turn it. We're going to do a line over here. We're going to do some block over here and on this side, and we're going to place this on top of here. This is also a nice way to work away the blocks which always have a brand on it. So, and that's, you don't want to see it in your DIY because some layers of paint doesn't cover it. So you don't want to see this one. So that's why I decorated it, that you can do it this way. And you can place this one over here. And you can easily fill it in over here. We're going to turn it again. We do some glue over here. And we place some glue. And we place this down. We do here the same, only on this side. Place it again. And already this one you can easily place over here. Squeeze it, make a straight line, and fill it in on this side. What you also can do is just make 2 together and make 2 of 3 together. Then you also have the same. But I think this is also very handy. And we're going to glue. Do some glue over here and on this side. And we're placing this one in. And the last is only on this side. And we just squeeze it in. Very easy. And then we're going to press all of them together in one straight row. And we're going to let this dry in for at least an hour. So the next step will be 4 rows of 6. So 4 rows of 6, and we do the same. We just do the length of our blocks and we do them to each other, because this one will be one of the stages of our stand. And I always like a big stand in decor, because it gives always a little height. Sometimes it's very difficult to find in your decor some height. You can do it, of course, with a plant or maybe a lamp, but it's always nice to have a piece in your home that you can easily place with it to give it some texture to your display. But I am really so totally forgotten that the blocks were really that strange of a size, because it's really as hard. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you're using the bigger blocks also. Let me know in the comment if you have the same problem. This is really much worse than the smaller ones. So I would love to hear if I'm the only one. Is it just the brand I did use, because I don't use it anymore. I use now the smaller blocks. But it's fun sometimes to do bigger pieces, and with the bigger blocks you build easy in the height. But I was totally forgotten. It's I think a little year ago, that I stopped with the bigger blocks and I started with the smaller one, because the bigger blocks were harder to find over here, and they did in quality they did go really down. And you see that now, because I did have them laying around, a couple of them. You see now how frustrated it is. You already get it with the smaller blocks, but with the smaller blocks you can easily work it away. I don't know what it is, but with the bigger blocks it is really in your face all the time that it is really that awful. But at the end it also gives you some how you call it, some uitdaging, we call it in the Netherlands. You get a little bit of triggered to make it in a good way. So to make it right, it's always giving your creativity some, how you say it? I don't know how you say it in English. Never mind, this is not the day for English. So you have 4 pieces of 6 over here. And we're going to let this dry in for at least 20 minutes. So I gave it a couple of minutes, 20 minutes like I told you. And now we're going to glue one of the sides. And of course, be careful, it is still not glued together. So we're going to do it this way. We're going to place the brand side over here. So this is also worked away. And we're going to give it a little bit of pressure. And the word I was looking for, it challenged you to make it also with this kind of blocks. That's what I was trying to tell you. This is really a DIY with some chaos. And you're going to go for this one, and we're going to give it some pressure. So, and now number 4, you do some on the top, on this side, over here. And you do it on the inside at the ending over here. So very easy. You just place them in here and in here. And then you're going to work with it to give everything a nice fitting. Of course, everything has to fit over here. And then you're going to let this dry in for at least, also again, some 20 minutes. So in the meantime, while our square is drying over here, we have 2 rows of 6. So very easy, we're going to row them also together, because we need a kind of a bottom to lay on top to build the other stage on top. So we have here now 2 of 6, and easily row them together. And this way, number 5. And number 6 is the closure up, squeeze them, and like this. And you do here the same. And we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest, so the glue can stick to the wood. So we're going to turn them and point all the blocks this side. And then we're going to do some glue over here. And we place it together and make one piece out of it. We carefully give it some pressure to fill in the open gaps as best as we can. And this way. And we feel at the ending. And we're going to wipe away the glue. And we're going to give this also a 20 minutes drying. In the meantime, while this is drying, I'm going to get my bottom. The piece we just made. You see this piece? We're going to turn it over. Place it over here. Like this. We're going to get our square, and be careful because he still is a little bit vulnerable, if you say it. We call it kwetsbaar, but you're going to do some glue on the inside more. Over here, we go around and around and over here. And of course, be sure that you touch every block because that's what you want. And then we're going to carefully again place it on the side, and we're going to place it on top of here, but be sure that you have it in the middle as best as you can. And we're going to give it some pressure, and I'm going to turn it, look for if I have it on the place I want to have it, and again we're going to press this down over here, and we're going to let this dry in also for a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, well, of course, our first piece is drying. We can take 4 rows of 5 and we're going to glue them together. It is a lot of gluing of making rows, but of course, at the end, you will have a big piece. Maybe it's not really a topiary. I don't know how you call this kind of stands. Let me know at the ending if you see the result and you see how it's turned out. Let me know how you call it yourself. Maybe everyone has different names for it, but maybe you call it a topiary. It's possible, but I thought a topiary is always something where you can also do maybe some greenery in, but maybe I'm totally wrong. So we're going to squeeze it. We're going to squeeze this one, and here the same, and the last, and give it some pressure. And we're going to give this also a couple of minutes, 20 minutes again. So we waited 20 minutes. What we're going to do the same like we did with the other one. We do some glue over here. We're going to place this one against this side and give it some pressure. We do some glue on this one over here, and we place this one not next to it but against it over here, and make sure that everything is fitting nicely. And now we do on this one, we do on this side over here, and we do it on the ending of the inside. And if everything is correctly, you can easily place it in and make sure that we get a nice shape. And this way, I'm going to give it some pressure. And when you have it on the shape you like, then let it dry for at least 20 minutes again. In the meantime, while our square is drying, we take 5 blocks. We're going to glue them together, and this way, and this one, and the last. And now we go do 2 pieces together. This is one against this one and one against this one, and we're going to squeeze it, and we do here the same, and we give it only a couple of minutes. So now we're going to do it a little bit difficult because we're going to place this one aside. We're going to glue this one over here, and we glue this one against here, so a little different than normally, and give it some pressure. And we do here the same, but we do some glue over here and over here, so not the whole piece, only a little piece. And if everything is correctly, there will be one piece which would be normally 1 block is left over. But first we're going to let this dry this way, and then if everything is dried up, we're going to cut off this little piece. So it's very easy to do. You can easily do it with a handsaw. So, and then he's fitting nicely on top of here because we're going to go smaller and smaller. So that's why we're going to do it this way. I have to make sure that I have it in a straight line, and this one. So we're going to let this dry, and this one. In the meantime, while these 2 here are drying, we're going to get our box again. We're going to get our loose plank, and we're going to do very easy, because if everything is correctly, you have it fitting nicely on top of here, and you see you get a nice border around here. And this is the plank, of course, which is 2 times 6 blocks. If everything is correctly, you had that laying around. So I'm going to do some glue on the inside of the box over here. You just go around and around. And if the glue is falling in, it doesn't matter. And now we're going to give this one, we're going to place it over here. Exactly. And here. And then you're going to give it some pressure. And you can do on the corners some weight. You can also do some paint can on top. But then your blocks have to be really dry, or else everything will fall apart. And that's not what you want. So I'm going to go and I'm going to wipe away the glue. And of course you can use a small brush, and very easy. Just go around the lines. Over here the same. And here. And here. And then you make a nice clean surface for your paint later. Of course I have to be sure that I have it in the middle. So I'm going to give this some drying time. In the meantime, while everything here is drying, we're going to do 4 blocks, 4 rows of 4 blocks. So it's very easy to do again. And you see already we are almost getting to the end, because now we're already to the 4 blocks. And later we're going to, of course, decorate the stand. You can decorate it any way you like. If you are more a glam person, you can spray paint it in gold or silver. I think I'm going to go for, like I told you, maybe a black color, and then get my sanding and sand pieces off to make it look like it is a little bit like an old piece. But that's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone enjoys that, so you can do anything you like. And of course we're going to squeeze it, and we're going to wipe away the glue and let it dry for 20 minutes. So also again, from these 4 pieces we are going to make a square, and it's so easy to do. You just glue this one against here, you do this one again, some glue, and you glue this one in the inside over here. And now you only need to do on this side and on this side, and you easily place it over here, because how smaller they get, how easier they are glued. So this is always the greatest. How smaller everything gets, it's easier to work with. We're going to give it some pressure, and we're going to let this dry in. So in the meantime, while this square is drying, I'm going to get to my garage, and I've just easily saw off this little piece, because I waited now, I think it is almost an hour, and I'm going to cut off very easy this way. So you see, I did cut off this. This is the better side, or else you can't see it. You see, this is the smaller piece. It's so easy to do. What we're going to do, because this needs to dry, I'm going to get the size bigger. I'm going to get this one already over here, and I'm going to do some glue on the top, but of course on the inside. Over here and over here. And this is the one with 4 times 5. And we're going to place this one, of course you can each side, and of course we're going to make sure that the brand size is on the inside. You don't see it back anymore, and that's not because we don't want to see it. And again, we're going to give this some pressure, going to let it dry in. We're going to get our brush, the smallest one, and we're going to go very easy around it, the same like we did with the size bigger, over here, and let it dry in. So we gave it a couple of minutes. Now we're going to get our bigger piece, and you see already we're going to turn this over. We're going to do some glue on the inside over here, and the glue which is falling into the box is no problem. It's the best that you don't have too much on the outside, especially when you want to spray paint it. You always need to sand it. So if you're going to make this and you're going to spray paint it, just make sure that you sand it first. And we're going to go this way, and we're going to place it on top, and make sure that we have it in the middle and give it some pressure. and it's already starting to look to something. And of course we need to decorate it later, and now we're going to let this rest also, but first we're going to wipe away the glue. So, and this is drying still, so we take 4 blocks and we have 2 loose blocks. So we're going to do this one, because we also need now a top for the one of 4. And again, squeeze it together and give it a couple of minutes rest. And now we're going to turn this one so the block is pointing this way. We're going to get a loose block, very easy, and we do some on the top. We place this one against here, over here, squeeze it, and now we only need to do a little bit of glue on one side and maybe a little on the top extra. So you do a little over here and over here, because he only needs to fit in here. And we're going to let this dry in, and then we're going to saw off also later this piece, because then he's fitting nicely on top here again. We are going to get always, you find some solutions for every problem you come up with, but of course you have to do it. And I hope everyone has a handsaw laying around, because that's always something you have to have laying around, because it's so handy. You don't have to have a jigsaw or maybe bigger tools. I only also have a jigsaw and a handsaw. So if you have a handsaw, you're already fit to go. And maybe a cutter, but I don't know if you can cut this smaller blocks. There are cutters for, but I don't know for the bigger blocks. So we're going to let this dry. As it's drying, we're going to get our 3 blocks, 4 rows of 3. So this is so easy to do. Just row them together. And I don't know if I go to 1 block, maybe the 4 of 2 will be my last. I have to look for how I like it, but everyone has their own taste, so everyone can do whatever they like to do. Of course, I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to squeeze, and this one also over here, and give it a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, I'm going to cut off this little piece over here. It's just a simple, small little cut. So you can also get some marker, and you can mark it off if you want to, so you have a little bit of a guideline. I'm going to get my handsaw and I'm going to cut it off. So I also did cut off this piece. Now we do here the same, like we're already doing every time. We do some glue over here, we glue over here, and over here, and we're going to place this one also on top of here in the middle and give it some pressure. And going to let this dry, and of course we are going to work away with the brush our glue. And then we already have almost stage number 3 already. So we have our bigger piece again. We're going to turn this upside down. We do some glue also on the inside over here. I hope you still can see it over here. Oh, over here, because he gets higher and higher this way. And I'm going to turn it over and make sure that I have them in the line I want to have them over here. And I'm going to let it fall down, and I'm going to squeeze it. And this is already number 3. And this way you also almost can make a Christmas tree out of it. And of course I am a Christmas channel, so most of the time something has to do with Christmas, but always with the option that you can do, of course, your own taste on it, because not everyone is enjoying Christmas soon, or maybe Christmas at all. And I love that everyone can give their own taste on it. So I'm going to wipe away the glue, and then we're going to let this dry in also. And now we have our 4 pieces of 3, and we're going to make a square out of it also. And then we are almost at the end, because I was looking already, and I think like I told you, I go to double 2, but you can go further if you want to, and you can even make it bigger. I did on the underside, I did 6 blocks, and you can do, of course, more over here. And I'm going to do some glue over here, and I place them inside of here. And now we already have our square. And we're going to give some pressure. And we're going to let it dry in for at least 20 minutes. Over here, and this one is a little bit tricky. He doesn't want to work with me. So we're going to let this dry. So in the meantime, while this square is drying, we're going to take 3 blocks and we're going to glue them together, because this 3 blocks is already fitting nicely on top of here. So we don't need to cut this one. So squeeze it, and we're going to give it a couple of minutes drying. So we gave this block of 3 also a couple of minutes. We're going to do some glue on the ones of 3. We're going to do the line of glue over here, and we could place this one also on top of here, and to let it dry in and give it a couple of minutes. Of course, we do this later on top, because or else it will be too high and you don't see it anymore. For me, we're going to do the last series of 4, and this will be the 2 series, but you can go also for the 1 series. So I'm going to do some glue, and this one is very easy, and this one, just squeeze it and squeeze it and wipe away the glue, and you let it go in for a couple of minutes again. So now we are ready for the last square. So don't worry, this is the end almost. So we're going to do some glue on this side. This is the last. You can glue this one on this side, but you can dream it already. And over here. And of course, this stand or a topiary you can use also for the fall season. Do some leaves, fall leaves on the sides. You can go all the way with this piece. You can use it for the Christmas, for the Easter. You can use it for anything. So again, you're going to place this one over here, and we make sure that everything is fitting nicely together. Give it a little bit of pressure and let it dry in. In the meantime, we are going to glue 2 blocks together, because we need the top. We need to close it in. We're going to glue 2 blocks together, and we're going to give it some pressure, and we let this dry also. So you get now a marker. You place this one on top, and you see already you want to make sure that this one is falling into a little in the block. That's why you do it a little bit shorter. So you do a mark over here and over here, and you're going to make a straight line, so everything is fitting, but is fitting nicely inside of this square. So I'm going to go to my garage and I'm going to saw it out. So now we're going to glue some glue on the inside of our last piece over here, and we're going to place this one on top of here and make sure that we give it some pressure. And again, we're going to wipe away the glue over here, and then we're going to glue this one on top of here, and then everything together. So we turn the smaller one upside down, and of course we're going to do some glue on the inside over here, and we're going to turn it over, and we're going to place this in the middle of the one last piece. And again, make sure that you have it in the line you want to have it, and give it a couple of minutes drying. So here we already have the bigger piece, which is 3 high, and we have the one of 2 high. We're going to carefully turn it upside down. We do some glue on the last piece, and then already our piece is ready. Then we only need to decorate it. And again, over here, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to place it on top of here in the middle. Of course, it is for you a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to give it some pressure. And if I have it on the place I want to have it, then I'm going to let it dry in for at least an hour. So I place you a little bit closer, and on top of this, it looks like a tower. We have a paint can on top, so I have to be careful, or else I have a paint can on my head, but that's not what we want. What I'm going to do, I have here my bag with my half rounds, wooden rounds, and I'm going to place on each side of every stage I'm going to do a wooden round in the middle. So I'm going to easily go around, just do some glue over here in the middle, and we're going to glue it, of course, in the middle. And then I'm going to give it some pressure over here, and you see already, this is what I mean. And so I go around and around. So you see already, I have on all sides, I have my wooden balls, and of course I'm going to end, of course, also in the middle on top. You don't see it, I show it to you in a moment when I placed it up here. Then you see the how he is on the top, and like I promised you, you would see the top. Of course, you see here the top, you see here the sides. This is how he's in totally. I still need to paint it, and you can do anything you like, but this is really a piece in your decor which is standing out, and that's what you want. You can also make two of them and place them together, so you can do anything you like. And you can do, I did the top this way, but you can decorate. You can do some fall leaves over here. I made it a little bit for all seasons, so for the Christmas, for the fall, so that's why I chose for this. But you can do all the way you like. So now I'm going to paint them. So you see already, I changed my mind. I thought I would do it black, but I don't know if I like the black too heavy, because that's a great piece, and if you do it black, it will be very hard. So first I'm going to do this color, and I'm going to look for if I like it. So I'm going to start with the underside and then work my way up, but this paint is also not covering. So normally I have my creamy paint, that's a chalk paint, and this is just an acrylic paint. So I'm going to hope that he's not totally into the white, so a little bit left open. So we will see how this will turn out. And you see already, this is of course how he is painted. I'm really a little bit debating if I like this distress color or not, or maybe I like it totally white, or maybe in a different color. We will see. I change up my decor every time, so nothing stays with me the same. Sometimes I have a couple of layers over each other from paint, so don't worry if you don't like the color. You always can later do it in another color. So I let this dry, and you see in a moment a quick impression. And you see, why we use, of course, our tumbling tile blocks, and I will use the smaller blocks because a lot of you already know that the store I buy my bigger blocks, they have problems delivering the bigger blocks. So it will be quite a time, I think, for the smaller blocks, but a lot of you are happy that I use the smaller blocks. Of course, I have here on my table a couple of wooden pieces, but you can choose anything you like which is in your home. This is just in my stash. I have just a big bag with wooden pieces I always buy through the year, and I collect them. Of course, some paint at your choice. I use some wood glue. You can use some hot glue, but be careful that your piece is not falling apart. I have here my little container with some scissors, markers, brushes, cutters, everything I need. So these are a little bit of the main piece, and of course don't forget a saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel which is wet to wipe away the glue. What we're going to make, you would say, of course we are going to make a type case. Here in the Netherlands we say letterbak. So in the Netherlands it's totally different word. We call it letterbak. So it's much different than type case. Of course I will do it with a twist. First, we are going to start with the back side of our type case. Of course, I'm going to do 19 blocks, and you can use some metal hook if you like that. Most of the time, I don't use it. I have it laying around, but I'm always a little bit different. I like it better because this is just how I used to doing it. But if you're more like a professional, then you can use your hook, and maybe you like it even better with the hook. Go ahead. And a lot of people really like working with it, so give it a try. So, and we're going to go, it's a lot, 18 blocks. So we are going to do it so as fast as I can. This way, and almost the last with the glue, because number 18 will be the closure up. Again, squeeze it. And we're going to go for a nice straight line. And if you do it with your hand and you don't have the hook, it works also fine because we use our wood glue and later on we still can readjust it to one piece. Again, we're going to get our towel, wipe away the glue we don't need, and again go around it and make sure that you have a nice straight line. Of course, we are going to work later with it again. We're going to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, and this will be a number 2. And we're going to do the same. And this is 1. Of course, I do it as fast as I can, again, because I know your time is precious. But of course, for everyone who wants to see how it is really made, and of course I make the mistakes for you, it's always better than you do it. So that's why I do it always step by step, but it's not always everyone's cup of tea. So if you don't like this, maybe then this channel is not for you, because I always do it step by step to give everyone who is maybe not always crafting also a nice DIY. And that's the only thing I go for, that everyone is having fun and enjoys what they are making. Again, make a nice straight line, of course as straight as you can, but later we will still work with it, so don't worry, it will be straight. And now the last row, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 and 18, the last. And then we are already having the back side. I'm sorry, there's something of kind of a dust what is coming off. I don't know what it is, but it really got me. Of course, the last blocks, and then we're going to give it a couple of minutes to rest. But you still can later, that's the great thing about the wood glue, you still can readjust it afterwards and make a nice straight piece. That's why I don't need always my metal hook. And this way. And the last. And you see already, we're going to glue them together, squeeze it, make a nice straight line again. This way, squeeze again. And we're going to go over with our little wet towel. We're going to give it a couple of minutes and then we're going to glue them together. So I gave it a couple of minutes and I'm going to go carefully on the side. This one also very lightly. I'm going to place it on the side. I'm going to do some glue on each block, a little dot. And for me it's always difficult to do a little, because for me it's always a little bit too much. But I'm going to do my best. So, and we're going to go, you see already, the glue is not always working with me, but it doesn't matter, so as long as he's working with you, that's the main part. So we're going to place it carefully down. If it breaks, it doesn't matter, give yourself some grace, because it is wood glue, you can readjust it any way you like, so don't worry about it. And just place them together, press them lightly against each other to make a nice, now one big plank. If you can, maybe you can, that's a better word I think we're going for. This will be the back side of our type case. So, and I'm going to let this rest. I was looking at it and I think, because if you are turning it this way, for me he is really too small. I thought this is not the measurement I want. So I'm going to give it one extra row of 18, because I don't like it before. For me it's a little too small. I'm used to the bigger blocks, and then if I use 3, then it is really a big one already. But no, for the smaller blocks he is too small. So I'm going to go again for 1 row extra and glue it against the other one. So if you like it also little bit bigger, then you have to go, of course, also for 4 rows of 18. But if you like, if you have a smaller space, then you can use this one. But I think I'm going for 4. I think it has a little, how we say here, a little bit more body, because or else he will be very small, especially because you want to make a little, closet, dresser. It's not a dresser because, it's not, no, it's not really a dresser, but I'm going to change it up a little bit like the normal one we have here. The type cases we have here in the Netherlands is just a square and we place it on our wall. But mine will be standing. You see already, this is what this is what can happen if you press a little too much. But it doesn't matter. We glue it together again. Like this. This is also what is DIYing. And you see, don't press too hard like me. I have a little bit too much strength. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and let it dry, and then we're going to glue it together. So I place also this one on the side. I'm going to do some glue again. And like you see, it doesn't matter if it falls apart. You just can make it together. It's always funny when you see me do things which is going wrong. And with every DIY, there are things going wrong because I have now 4 rows of 18. But of course, I don't need 4 because I need to have the sides on top of my back side. So I don't need 18, I need 19 of each block. So what I'm going to do on this side and on this side, I'm going to place 1 extra block. Of course, you don't have to do it because you already make 4 rows of 19. And don't make the mistake like I do. So you do it a little bit easier than what I do right now. You just make it the better way. You see already, you don't have this problem. The last one is only on the sides. So you make 4 rows of 19 blocks. And again, we have everything we need right now. Now, if everything correctly, we can let this dry at least for a couple of hours because or else he will be falling apart. And that's not what we want. So I'm going to place this one aside because he needs to dry in. That's I always use 2 mats. What I'm going to do now, we're going to make blocks of 2. So very easy, you just do some glue on the side and you glue them together, squeeze it, press it and make a nice straight line like this. Wipe away the glue and you do again on the side and again place them against each other, squeeze it, make a straight line and wipe away the glue. I'm going to make 20 of these pieces of 2. So we have our 20 pieces. If everything is correctly and I counted right, we are going to do 4 pieces together like this. On the tops we do some glue and we're going to glue them together. And this is number 4. And you see we're going to make a nice straight line. And we're going to give it a little, and if maybe this one is fitting this one better, then you just turn it over until it is fitting very nicely. Of course, we're going to again for 1 of 4. We're going to do on the tops, on this top, and on this top. And number 4 will be the closure up again. Squeeze it and make a nice straight line. Now we're going to go for 6. Like this. So again, get your glue, do the top, and over here we're going to do this one, and on this one, and number 5, and number 6 is the closure up, and squeeze a little and make a nice straight line. And you see already, maybe if you turn it over, it fits a little bit better. Just work your way with it. And you see these two are a little bit smaller. So I have to look if I like it or not, or else I make 2 other ones. And again, we do the last pieces of 6. Very easy, because these are the sides of our type case. It's so much different word than we use letterbox. I have to really get used to it, to the word. So again, and make a nice straight line again. Feel with your fingers that you have a nice line. I think I'm going to go for this one this way. And again, we're going to let this rest for a couple of hours. So I have my 4 pieces of 2 pieces of 4. I have 2 pieces of 6. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place them on the side, do this one on the side, and of course this one will be on the top. So we place it over here. We're going to look for where we want to have it, over here. And now the only thing I'm going to do is do some glue on this side, enough, and on this side. And I'm going to place them over here against each other. I'm going to do the same over here, do some glue, and over here. And we're going to place this one also against this one, and give it a little bit of pressure over here and a little bit of pressure over here. Wipe away the glue you don't need, and of course give here a little bit of pressure, and also over here. And if you have it in the shape you want to have it, then let it dry in. At least I think this one also let it dry in for, yeah, I always say take a little bit longer, maybe do at least an hour. That everything sticks together, because especially with the weather which is raining, and then it is a very cold weather, and the wood glue is drying a little bit, yeah, not totally the way that you have it in the summer. So maybe give it a little bit more time. I'm going to wait until at least an hour. So I have here my frame and of course our back side. What I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to do some glue at the ending of the back side. So make just a thin line from over the whole piece like this, and we're going to go this way. Oh, you see where I'm stuck in the in the piece of. And what I also want to tell you, if you have a little open gap and you don't like it, use some spackle and just fill your little gap if you don't like it. For me, I always think it gives a little bit more like a rustic look, but if you don't like that, you want to have a nice, clean and straight piece, then you don't have to use a little bit of spackle and make it fitting, and at least fill it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this over here. I'm going to turn this a little like this. Then I can very carefully, because he's not totally dry yet, I'm taking a risk. It is a chance that he's falling apart. So wait a little bit longer than I wait, probably. So we will see if I regret what I'm doing or not. I'm going to place it on top, place this one over here, and we're going to try to get it as fitting as we can. It's not really a match made in heaven, like they say, but we are going to make sure that one of the sides is flat, because it will be, it's getting a bottom, so where he can stand up. So make sure that one of the sides is straight, and then the top is coming over a little, but it doesn't matter. So just give it a little bit of pressure over here and over here. And we're going to wipe away the glue. And if the glue is coming on this side out, you take just a small brush and you just go inside, wipe it away, get your wet towel, and again, go over it and wipe it away. So I'm going to let this rest in for at least a half hour. So in the meantime, while the frame of our type case is drying, we are going to make the stand, and we're going to make 5 times pieces of 4. So very easy, glue them together. This is number 3, and number 4 will be the closure up. Squeeze it, press it together, and make sure that you get a nice straight line. We're going to do here the same. This is number 1, number 2, place it together, and number 3, and number 4 is the closure up again, squeeze a little and make a nice straight line. And this is what we're going to do with all 5 of them. This is 2, number 3, and number 4. And again, squeeze it, make sure that they can jump out like I had earlier. Then your blocks are jumping in the in your room. Of course, like this, and this is so easy to make. And this is a number 4, and the last one is number 5 because we need them a little bit wider. And number 3, and then we're going to close them up, give them a nice little push like this. And again, we're going to give it a couple of minutes and we wipe away the glue we don't need, of course, this way. So you get always nice clean blocks before you're going to paint, especially when you're going to wax it. You need, and you can also spray paint it in the gold color or silver color if you like more like the glam style. So again, give it a couple of minutes and then we glue them together. So I gave them a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do, of course, you see already this one is popping out. And that's not what we want, but we can still redo it. We can place it down. We do some glue. We do over here. And the last one. And we're going to very carefully place them together this way and row them in one line. And this, give it a little bit of pressure. And we wipe away the glue, and we're going to give it also a couple of minutes again. So we have now the stand he will stand on. Now we're going to get 3 blocks. We're going to do some glue in the middle and in this one, and again squeeze them together this way, squeeze it and make a straight line. And we do this one more time because we're going to make the feet also out of the blocks, because I was thinking a bit myself, I would do this one, but I think he will be much too wobbly if I will use this one. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the safe side and I'm going to go for a little feet like with the blocks. But of course, if you have something laying in your home which you think is much better to use as legs for your piece, then it is of course also fine. This is just what I do, and I'm going to place it over here a little out of the ending over here, and I'm going to do a little glue over here, and I'm going to place this one also a little out of the ending, and we're going to give it again a couple of minutes to dry. So in the meantime, while these two are drying further, we are going to get blocks, and we are going to do 2 on top of each other like this, very easy again. And we're going to make, I'm going to start with 16 couples of 2, so very easy. Just on the side some glue over here, squeeze them together just like we did with the side, squeeze it and make a nice straight line. Of course I will do it a little bit faster than this, or else you will run away because it takes much too long of your time. So I'm going to do it faster. So I made place, of course, for our frame. What we're going to do, this is totally up to you because you can do anything you like. We made pieces of 2 just to make nice, a little kind of a puzzle labyrinth, you call it, in between. You can go for a little square, you can go for a little higher, you can go for even wider. Go whatever you think is right. Glue this one together, or this one if you like more like a corner like this. You can go this way, you can go over here to make a frame like this. You can go over here, make it any way you like. I only show you what I did, but it's totally free. Do whatever you think it's right. So I'm going to start mine with 2 pieces together like this. Of course I'm going to get some glue. And I'm going to place them together in this way. I'm going to do another one of 2. And I'm going to place again 1 against each other. And I'm going to make a total of 4. I did figure out a little bit how I want to have it. So again, a little squeeze until this one. And the last, because I'm going to do on the top and on the bottom, I'm going to make the same kind of a square to start my piece. So I'm going, and of course, look also what you want to decorate, how much of how big you want to have your openings, because you still need to do some decor inside. So be aware of that. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes rest, and then I'm going to do it inside of here. So now I'm going to get my frame, and I'm going to do very easy. I'm going to place this one inside, and you can do it this way, but you also can go a little higher and you go this way. So choose whatever you think is right. I'm going to go for this one. So very easy. I'm doing some glue on the underside. It's just building up the way you want it. You're totally free to fill it in the way you like it. Of course, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do some glue on this side and on the underside over here. And we're going to place it in. Of course, I also have to do it on this side, or else it doesn't glue on this side. And that's the great thing about wood glue. You just go to turn it a little and you still can squeeze it in the way you want to have it. And that's, if you use hot glue, it's a little bit more difficult. Of course, you still can do it. It's not something you can't do. And this way, I'm going to give it a little bit of pressure also over here. And keep it in place for a little moment until it's dry up. I make the same one over here. Of course, we're going to place this one first, and we're going to glue this one over here. So I have to make sure that I have it in a straight line. So I'm going to get this one. I'm going to do the sides and this side, of course this side. And I have to look for, of course, this side, but you see later also, I'm going to place it over here and make sure we don't press it, not yet, because we still need to do this one over here, and on this one. And we're going to place it in. Of course, we have to make sure that we get it in. It's a little bit like puzzling. Of course, for some people this is taking much too long. So if you don't like this to see, please skip forward, because I understand if this takes a little too long of your time. But for everyone who wants to make it the same way I have it, that's why I show it to you. And I'm going to let this rest for a couple of minutes. So now I'm going to make again 2 pieces together, but this is one and another one of 2. Again, squeeze it like this. I'm going to keep mine very simple, but of course you can go all the way. And this is one. And this, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and then we're going to place it inside. So I still have enough room to decorate the way I want to have it. Because if you want to have a nice cute little sign or some figurines, you have to think. And if you want to have more decoration, then you build your frame a little bit bigger than what it is right now. So I'm going to make mine, of course, both in the same direction. I have one here, I have one here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place one of my pieces over here, and I'm going to place one of the pieces over here. So I get even here a little spot open for decoration, and I'm going to do it, of course, also on this spot. Of course, this one has to be over here. I have to think where I really want to have it, because or else we're getting mistakes. I think I'm going to go for this one. Like this, and I'm going to give it, I'm going to glue the pieces together like this. It's very easy, So I'm going to do some glue on this side and on the underside, and I'm going to place it over here because I want to be sure that he's fitting like this. And I'm going to get this one, and I'm going to do on this side, on this side, and on this side. And now we're going to very carefully squeeze it in a little. We need the time. Of course, place it against each other this way and this way. Of course, he has to go a little over here. And wipe away the glue which is coming out. You wipe away with your brush. And of course, you see already I have to redo it like this. And we're going to do here the same. I'm going to do some glue on the side and on the underside. And I'm going to place it the same way over here. And I'm going to do this one, of course, on this side, on this side, and on this side. And then we have our nice frame. I'm going to give it a little bit of space because it has to come in. And this way. And we're going to let it dry in for at least, before we're going to paint it, an hour. So I'm going to place this aside so it can dry. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get 4 blocks. I'm going to make 2 little squares because I want to have 2 cute little faces for inside. And I'm going to do 1. And we're going to place it against here. We're going to do another one on the side, over here. And I'm going to place this one against here. And I'm going to do on this one on the side and on the inside, a little piece on the inside. So over here and on the side. And I'm going to place it straight up and I'm going to squeeze it in. And now we can make a nice cute little square with a little opening inside where we can do some greenery in. So this is already one. I'm going to make a second one. I'm going to place this one against this one. And the third one, a little glue. And place this one to this one. And over here, I don't know if the block is straight or not. We're going to do it over here. And on the inside. And we're going to place it here. And squeeze it. And press it together in the shape you want to have it. And we're going to let this dry also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my stand this way. I'm going to get my my box and I'm going to do some glue on the underside of our frame over here. Make sure that you have enough glue because you don't want that he's falling off. And we're going to place it exactly in the middle. I have to look for over here and I'm going to let it fall and make sure that we have it in the middle. And we're going to give it a couple of minutes to dry. So I place, of course, our frame over here. What we're going to do, I'm going to use this one as a top on our type case over here. You almost don't see it over here. Now it looks very strange if you see it this way. But of course, I'm going to glue it on top and we're going to paint it in one color because we keep it easy because you can use it for every season. So you can change it up every time and time again. So I'm going to glue this on the top, do some simple wood glue in the middle. And then our frame and of course our the type case is finished. So I'm going to place it on the top and let it dry. So now we are going to go paint our type case, of course. But what I'm going to do it in a very neutral tone, a little bit of the creamy color you see here. It's a little of white, but you can do any color you like. But I think because it's for every season, I keep it a little bit neutral. So that's why I'm going to start on the underside in the creamy white color. So And of course it dries up even lighter, but you can wax it, you can do it in the black, you can do it in any color. You can even do the top, maybe this top a little bit in a different color. Go ahead, do whatever you think is right. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to paint this one. You see how my typecase turned out, and I love the color. I am going to paint the little, what will I use for planters, in a little bit of the darker brown color. So I made 3 of them. You saw 2 of them, but I made 3 because I want to have here, here, and on the other side 1 little planter. And here you can easily put a bottle brush tree inside or some other greenery stems. So it's very easy to make. And you also have your own cute little planter. So I'm going to paint this 3, and then I'm also going to make 2 little signs, but you see that in a moment. So everything is almost ready. Of course, here we're going to do some greenery or some bottle brush tree. If you make it for the Valentine season, you also can do some Valentine sign on top of here. You can do some, maybe a pink bottle brush tree on top of here, and you can easily make it for the Valentine. So it is usable for any season. I'm going to keep it a little bit Christmas and a little bit neutral. So what I'm going to do, I have here this kind of little cute little frames like this, and they were only 68 cents, euro cents, and it's not even less than $1. So they are very cheap. And I am going to make some print on my computer like this, 2 pieces. I'm going to use this one and this one. I'm going to cut them out, and we're going to Mod Podge them on top of here. So I did cut them out, and you see so easy it is. Make your own cute little sign. You can find this too on our free printables, always linked down below in our description box, and also in our other channel, Decor Easy. So go check it out. Of course, I hope I get my lid undone of my Mod Podge, and I use always this brand Mod Podge, but you can use anything you like. Of course, I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to go and do some Mod Podge on top of here. I just do it on the frame because this is a little frame. I do a little bit more, then it dries up a little bit better. But everyone does Mod Podging his own way, so don't mind me. I always make sure that no Mod Podge is coming on top of my print because I like the matte finish. But if you like more like a shiny finish, then you have to go over it later again and do an extra layer of Mod Podge on top of here. I'm not going to do that because I don't like that, but for everyone who does, do it the way you think it's right. I have to go a little bit sideways and work with your print, and you see already how easy is this. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to do the second one. You see here on my table I have some different sizes bottle brush trees, and I use the green one, but like I told you, you can get them in every color. So even for the Easter you can use maybe white, you can use spray painted in orange, you can do for any season, you can do and maybe yellow if you have later a lemon decor over here. And this one is so small on the side, you can place in your kitchen, you can place on a back side. It is so easy to use. So I'm going to use 2 pieces. I'm going to do with the very small bottle brush tree, and I'm going to take off the piece, and if you turn it, he will go very easy off. So I'm going to do a little bit of glue inside and a little bit on the top of the little stand, and I'm going to place my bottle brush tree inside and make sure that I have it this way, and I'm going to let this dry in. And of course I have also already over here a smaller one, and I'm going to do again some little glue on the inside and on the corners so he gets enough glue. And again we're going to stick him inside the glue and place him on top, and make sure that you keep him in place for a little moment until he is dried up. And for the in between here I can use a little bit of a bigger one, so I'm going to use this one for in between. I have to look for you. This one is the same size. Again I'm going to get the stamp, turn it, and make sure that we get the plastic piece of it. We work away this brush again down. And I saw a little tip for everyone which the bottle brush trees are totally squeezed and totally out of shape. Ginger from Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab, of course a lot of you already know her. She has the tip: do a little bit of warm water, place your bottle brush tree inside, and he will get in shape totally. So Yvonne, thank you so much for that tip, because a lot of my trees of my Christmas village are out of shape. So I'm going to use that tip very often. So again, I'm going to do some glue over here. And I'm going to place this one also in the middle and keep it in place for a little moment. And now we have very easy 3 little stands with some trees. So now we have this one. We have of course our cute little signs. And now I'm going to get to my stash to get a couple of things, and then we're going to decorate it, and then you see the quick impression. So I could place you a little bit closer. I'm going to make it very easy. I have here some couple of things on my table which I can use. I'm going to start very easy. I'm going to place my little sign sideways over here. And this is the way you make very easy and fast your own little display. Of course, I place this one in this corner, but on the inside over here. You can do it with some sticky gum if you want to have it placed stick together on your display. I have 2 wooden houses over here, and I'm going to place this one also sideways. Of course, this one has to go over here, and this one has to come over here. Of course, this one has to go back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place also a smaller bottle brush tree over here. I have the big one over here, and he can very easy place him inside, and you already have him inside of your corner. Of course, you can turn him a little, and then he is straight, because that's the bottle brush. He is always wired, so he's not always in the mood to go where you want. Of course, I'm going to place a little house, black house over here. Of course, oh, you see already, this also DIYing. Not everything is going the right way. Again, place it over here. I have here some copper bells, and they are very rustic. Really, the rust is coming off. I place one over here, and I place one on top of here. I have here also a little house, and I'm going to place this one on the inside over here. And now I'm going to place some pieces of wood, the smaller ones. Of course, I have bigger ones, but I use the smaller ones. I do one over here, and I'm going to try to get also the other one inside, like this. So I'm going to keep it this way, very easy and simple. In a moment, you see the quick impression.